Sailing, Full-Level Lightning Dragon Slayer, Build the Fairy Tale Emperor. Author, Pirates. Chapter 201 Everything Smash. Admiral Akainu drills the dog hole. Subscribe, crush, activate the powerful super magic belonging to the ceiling of Fairy Tale S-Class Wizard Gilduts. In an instant, the world seemed to be at a standstill. Whether it's Big Mom's shocking thunder, or King Long Duo's scorching dragon's breath. At this moment, the terrifying attacks of the two emperors froze like a natural disaster. Next second, it happened that the pupils of the two sea emperors couldn't help constricting. All things in the world, all phenomena, will be crushed. Crash. The sea in all directions shattered into blocks of sea water one after another without warning. Ka. The atmosphere is also shattered under the power of Gilduts, turning into air cubes. The heat and thunder of Kaido and Big Mom shattered into cubes along with the atmosphere. At this moment, the berserk flames and thunder were broken down into small 927 cubes one after another. Just like that, it disappeared between the sky and the earth with the wind. It's really sparsy. Lord Gilduts' shattering magic is so shocking no matter how many times you watch it. Yanti couldn't help applauding. Ahahaha, okay. Gilduts turned and gave Xiangra thumbs up. Don't get carried away, stupid old man. Be careful of overturning. No, it's overturning. Kana said. Ahahaha, no, Kana, just look at it. Your father and I are active. Daughter accuses Gilduts of confidence. No wonder you dare to challenge us. It's a trick. For Emperor's Big Mom, Charlotte Linlin looked a little solemn. Things are getting interesting. Well, let's treat it as a warm-up activity before the big event. King Long Kaido skyrocketed. The conflict between the Emperor and the Emperor is imminent. Sing the world. Naval Headquarters Battlefield. The all-out war between the Whitebeard pirates and Marine has entered a fierce stalemate. Cruel fighting scenes spread all over the battlefield of this headquarters. Every minute and every second someone is down. The battle has progressed to this point. The competition is not just about combat power. There is also a breadth. No matter which side was discouraged first, in the end, it will lead to disastrous results. And, compared to the Whitebeard pirates, the Cheon Marine side is undoubtedly stronger, because this is their home field, because they have an absolute numerical advantage. At the same time, it is because the two legendary Marines of their marine, the hero Garp and the Marshal Sengoku, have not participated in the battle yet. By contrast, the Whitebeard pirates are already doing their best, especially for Emperor's Whitebeard, who is the core leader. There is no longer any holdback. However, it was still unable to break through Admiral Akainu's defense in a short time. Get the hell out of Lozi, lava brat. Whitebeard snapped. Kong Yankee swung the supreme sharp knife, slash and explode Admiral Akainu's dog-haired lover. Whitebeard's eyes were bright, and he strode after him. However, next second, unexpected surprises happened. Before taking a few steps, Whitebeard suddenly fell to one knee. He spat out a mouthful of blood while opening his mouth. Cold sweat rubbed off his old face. Time is hard, Whitebeard. Admiral Akainu sneered. Seize the opportunity to condense your real body from the magma, and drive the magma. In the blink of an eye, he was in front of four Emperors. Whitebeard. Dad. The captain of the Whitebeard pirates, Marco Phoenix's complexion suddenly changed. Feeling bad, he lost his usual calm. Regardless of the opponent in front of him, he immediately turned around and returned to help. The cost of losing your cool on the battlefield is enormous. The Naval Headquarters Elite Vice Admiral Ghost Spider suddenly exploded. Under the Blessing of Life return mode, his messy hair is also an extension of his hands and feet. Marco, who was distracted, was held down, and sea-stone handcuffs were put on him at the same time. Immediately afterwards, whoosh, two golden laser beams shot out, piercing through Marco's body. Under the suppression of the sea-stone handcuffs, Marco naturally can no longer have the resilience of the Phoenix. The Phoenix is no longer immortal, and Marco, who was penetrated by the laser, rolled his eyes on the spot. The victory or defeat is only in an instant. You are careless, Marco. Admiral Kizaru pouted obscenely. Marco, watching his father in danger and Marco down, the calm heart of the captain of the third team, Diamond Josie, can't help being in a mess. Where are you looking? Diamond Jaws. Admiral Okiji spoke lightly. The extremely cold air suddenly spread. The big move that had frozen for Emperor's Whitebeard before was released again. The captain of the third team, Kieaozi, who did not have a shock body shield, was not spared. Completely frozen by Admiral Okiji's extremely cold air. Click. The moment of falling to the ground, one of Jaws's arms was completely separated from his body. Even the strongest man in the world is very fragile when he is frozen. In an instant, the two main forces suffered heavy losses one after another. However, worse is yet to come. Just let me take you to hell, Whitebeard. Admiral Akainu stormed off against an injured for Emperor's Whitebeard. If it is changed to before, Whitebeard has 100 ways to pick it up. But at this stage, his condition is really bad. Admiral Akainu's hot magma fist hit his chest. Boom. Whitebeard's chest was pierced by hot magma, leaving a large hole with front and back transparent. Dad. All over the battlefield, Everyone in the Whitebeard pirates couldn't help shouting in panic. Gudong tilde, sizzle sizzle tilde, white dot 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 Whitebeard is pierced. Admiral Akainu's fist went through Whitebeard's chest. 4.9 thousand dot 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 killed. In Sabadi's Yudao live broadcast square, the reporters and the Melaneters watched the big live broadcast screen without blinking. Their faces were full of tension. No. Not yet. On top of the battlefield, Whitebeard was hit like never before, but he wasn't down yet. He stretched out his big hand wrapped in vibration, grabbed Admiral Akainu's head, and slammed it down toward the ground. Boom. Rumble. Naval headquarters shook violently. The plaza within the bay opened a huge chasm under Whitebeard's power. Damn. Whitebeard. Admiral Akainu spat out a mouthful of blood, and fell to the ground. Altogether, Whitebeard is dying. On the execution platform, Marshal Sengoku waved his hand and ordered the general attack. Chapter 202 Ace Whitebeard is dead. The Baichan was wiped out. Subscribe. Altogether, Whitebeard is dying. Marshal Sengoku seized the opportunity and ordered a general attack. Following his order, the marine elites from all directions rose together and wrote to Whitebeard. If it is changed to the past, no amount of trash can hurt a single hair on Whitebeard. If you can't even get close, you will be blown away by the vibration. However, right now it's not unusual. Facing the general attack of the sailors, Whitebeard just stood there motionless. Internal wounds, a knife from Skeward and a punch through the chest by Admiral Akainu. Many debuffs are blessed together, making the current Whitebeard almost immobile. They had no choice but to stand passively, bearing the siege from Marine. Puff. Pooh. 4 Marines hung the school company man with a knife on Whitebeard's body. Bang bang bang. More bullets entered Whitebeard's body. Boom. A shell exploded in Whitebeard's face. The tall figure for Emperor's Whitebeard staggered and staggered. Seeing that he was about to fall down, he stood still abruptly in the next second. Don't think 29 will kill me. Lousy is Whitebeard. Whitebeard snapped. Kong Yankee, the supreme sharp knife, slashed domineeringly, sweeping away thousands of troops. Boom. Rumble. Instantly, naval headquarters shook the ground. Within a radius of 100 meters, the marine elites took off together, rush into the sky, and then fall like a dumpling. This terrifying scene made everyone in Marine palpitate and flinch. Don't back down. Keep going. He's seriously injured. Marshal Sengoku shouted angrily, urging everyone to continue the attack. Say I'm seriously injured? Don't be kidding. It's just this level. How could I die? Whitebeard's footsteps slammed down. I know ... if I die ... I know exactly what it means ... I will never see the bright future of my sons. Will die. Whitebeard said firmly. Your future is already doomed when you set foot on this battlefield. If you want to see it, I can let you see it now. Whitebeard. Marshal Sengoku spoke coldly. Let's do it. With an order from Marshal Sengoku, the 2 executioners held up their execution knives. The situation has developed to the point where it is now. They no longer need to use Firefist Ace as bait. Execution. Start early. The long knives in the hands of the executioner were staggered, and the blades shone with a cold light. It's useless. Do you think I can't do anything? Whitebeard glared and was about to use Conqueror's Haki to clear. However, not waiting for him to release Conqueror's Haki, severe pain struck, causing Whitebeard to half kneel on the ground in pain. It was this momentary delay that made everything a foregone conclusion. Look, Whitebeard, you have no future. Sengoku waved his hand. Swish. The sharp execution blade fell and penetrated Ace's body. Blood dyed the execution platform red. Ace. A hazy mist blurred Whitebeard's eyes. Ace. Captain Ace. How so? How could such a thing happen? Obviously they've already come here. Yet Ace still. Not only Ace, but also Captain Marco, Captain Joszy and Dad. The Whitebeard pirates and their 43 pirates. All the pirates were ashamed at this moment. As Ace was executed and died, their tense breath was completely vented. Unprecedented confusion hit the hearts of the pirates. They don't know what to do next. Cool la 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 la. For Emperor's Whitebeard's mournful and angry laughter resounded throughout naval headquarters. Start by setting foot on this battlefield. Whitebeard just had no intention of going back. He had already made up his mind to exchange his life for Ace's survival. He has long been a remnant of the old era. The new age has no ships that can carry him. Giving up one's own life, if the new era can be passed on, then everything is worth it. However, now, Ace was executed. All hope is cut off. The last thing Whitebeard can do is carve out a way for the remaining children. Boom. Kong Yankee slashed down with a supreme sharp knife wrapped in unparalleled vibration. Rumble. With Whitebeard's fully activated shock fruit ability, the entire naval headquarters is divided into 2 little ones. This is the final captain's order. Ace is dead. We are defeated, and the dead are irretrievable. But you still have hope. For Emperor's Whitebeard shouted loudly. Let's go. Ace who died here has everyone's revenge. I will help you get it back. Sengoku, let's go to hell together. Whitebeard locked his eyes on Marshal Sengoku on the execution platform, and the corner of his mouth curled up. Not good. Whitebeard is going to die. Finish him quickly. Marshal Sengoku's complexion changed drastically, and he quickly ordered. However, today's Whitebeard has absolutely no scruples. Just burn your last strength to your heart's content. Dad. No. Dad, didn't we make an appointment? Aren't we going back to New World's happy banquet together? Everyone in the Whitebeard pirates couldn't help screaming heart-piercingly. Ace is dead, so is his partner, and now Daddy is. It doesn't matter anymore. Losey is dead anyway. My life is given by my father. Today Losey will live and die with Dad. Damn Marine, don't think you've won like this. Even if Losey risked his life, he will die with you. Let's go to hell together. More and more Whitebeard pirates gave up their escape and chose to live and die with Whitebeard. Under the dying counterattack of the Whitebeard pirates, Naval Headquarters, already on the verge of victory, also suffered serious casualties. The entire Naval Headquarters is soaked in blood, as if turned into a purgatory on Earth. Finally, under Marine's overwhelming force, 4 Emperors Whitebeard die in battle. The Whitebeard pirates are wiped out. Chapter 203. The curtain ends on the top. Really top opening. Subscribe. Sing the world. Naval Headquarters, Marineford. The much-anticipated summit war is over. No Straw Hat intervention from Destiny's Son. This war has lost many twists and turns and possibilities. Everything is going as expected by Marine. The execution of Firefist Ace is going on as scheduled. The strongest man in the world, 4 Emperors Whitebeard, was also won in the wheel battle. The extermination of the remnants of the Whitebeard pirates is also proceeding smoothly. It is different from the top battle of the original plotline. In this battle, more than 90% of the Whitebeard pirates were lost in this battle. Certainly, Marine also paid a considerable price. The damage to personnel is more than twice that of the original plotline. But, in the eyes of Marshal Sengoku and many hawkish Marine generals, all the sacrifices are worth it. In today's war, they have done their best. Gentlemen, on the execution platform, Marshal Sengoku stepped on Ace's pool of blood and spoke again. Today's war, thanks to the bloody fighting of everyone here, we have achieved unprecedented results. A corner of the New World 4 Emperors, the Whitebeard pirates led by Whitebeard Edward Newgate have been completely defeated by us. Celebrate. Let's cheer. Thanks to the hard work of the gentlemen, the pirate forces that continue to grow wildly in this sea will be contained to a large extent, and we have kept the peace of the common people. We have upheld justice. Marshal Sengoku delivered a series of impassioned post-war speeches. There was thunderous applause and cheers from the audience. Phew, that's really great, sister. Under the execution platform, Jian wiped the fragrant sweat from his forehead and let out a long breath. What's too good? Vice Admiral Crane asked. Of course we defeated the Whitebeard pirates, and neither Fairy Tail nor Sayu got involved in this war. Jian rode. It would be great if that's the case, the Vice Admiral Crane whispered faintly. Well? Jian was taken aback. Follow the line of sight of the Vice Admiral Crane. Jian saw Vice Admiral Garp. Without saying a word at this moment, he walked towards the dilapidated headquarters building. Sepudi Islands, Live Plaza. It's over. The war is over. As expected, this is a big victory for Marine. And it's great. Firefist Ace was executed, 4 Emperors Whitebeard died in battle, and the Whitebeard pirates were defeated. Great, really great. This is simply the best result, and the sea will usher in real peace in the future. Ha 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 ha. What is the strongest man in the world? What is 4 Emperors Whitebeard? He is not vulnerable in front of Marine. The strongest man in the world has already been replaced. Whitebeard is old. The real strongest man in the world is the one from Fairy Tail. The melon-eating crowd gathered in the square cheered and discussed heatedly. Hey, reporters, what are you doing? The war is over. Hurry up and develop results. That's right. The world is waiting for your news. Some people who eat melon urged. Of course we know about this kind of thing. Only, we've tried it countless times. Since just now, I have been unable to contact the outside world. The signal from this island has been completely cut off. The reporters of the major news agencies were sweating profusely. Can't contact the outside world? This is a matter of course, because the space we are in has long since changed. Magician Hawkins whispered faintly. It is too soon to celebrate the results and victories of the war. Mafia Godfather Capone Big spoke in a deep voice. Things have gone down an unknown path from the very beginning. Death Sergeant Trafalgar Law said. Today's Naval Headquarters Summit war is not over yet. Corrupted Marine Rear Admiral Drake looks dark. It's better to say that everything is just beginning. Sky Island Strange Monkero Ush said. Kid, who is behind all this? Is it really only Fairy Tail? Kill the Warrior Kira Road. No one knows about this kind of thing until the result comes out. Captain Kidd's A's were covered with several black lines. Floating Sky Island, Plaza. Jihahahaha, Whitebeard, you are on your way to the end after all. In this way, the legend of the old era is really only left by me. Golden Lion Shiki laughed and said. However, under the superficial laughter, but still hidden deep regret. Why is this happening? Ace ... and the Whitebeard pirates. Everyone. Ever since he witnessed Ace being executed to death, Yamato's face has been pale and bloodless. A great sadness filled her and tears rolled down her cheeks. Sorrow and change. Runty patted Yamato on the shoulder, and it was rare that he didn't make any further attacks. Ace. Luffy's brother is dead. If only Luffy knew. Reby's eyes turned red suddenly, and the tears couldn't stop falling. This is also impossible. Without the president's order, we can't act rashly. To be honest, I have a little liking for the Whitebeard pirates. Although they are pirates, they shelter the civilians in the territory for free. Usual food and clothing are also spent on catching other pirates in exchange for bounties. Their downfall will not bring peace to the sea, but will lead to great turmoil. And that, Zhao, Ace, although he is a bit out of tune, he is indeed a good person. After all, not many people in this world are willing to give their all for the country they met by chance. All the fairy tale girls couldn't help shaking their heads regretfully. Wrong. Urza shook her head abruptly. What's wrong? Asked Nami. Based on what I know about the president, he will never be absent from such a lively event. The president's departure alone a week ago is the biggest evidence. Urza said firmly. That's right. In fact, I also know that. The night before the president's departure, he took away several confidential commissions, including Marines and the Whitebeard pirates. Mirajan nodded slightly. So, what's going on now? Vivi and the others were puzzled. Oh, everyone, look quickly. The president ... That's the president. Wow tilde ... Like. Chapter 204 For Emperors, Suyu, join the battle! Subscribe. World Center. Holy Land, Marie Joyce. Excellent. It's so enjoyable. If I had known, I would have gone straight to Naval Headquarters. That's right. Watching it live will definitely be more enjoyable. The Marine guys did a great job this time. What Whitebeard? What is the strongest in the world? Blowing so hard, the result is not dead. I thought that Whitebeard guy was so good. That's it. Oh, what a pity. If only Whitebeard could be spared and made my invincible slave. Ha ha ha. Aren't there still a few captains of the Whitebeard pirates caught alive? I remember it seems to be Marco the Phoenix. I want to build a cage to raise him. Stop talking stupid. That Phoenix is the one I want to keep. I don't fight for the Phoenix. I just want the one that can turn into a diamond. It's really gorgeous. In the social square of Pang-U City, the arrogant and domineering celestial dragons were talking and making noise. The other side. Inside Pang-U City, the Five Elders Conference Hall. The atmosphere in the hall was unusually solemn. Obviously Marine has won the war. But there was no joy on the faces of the 5 old 740 stars. Because they have found out the fact that they are now out of touch with the outside world, and the fact that this place is very likely to be another different space. Damn. What's the matter with all this? The blonde and bearded 5 elders frowned. Which guy is playing tricks behind the scenes? Are you kidding us? The swordsman 5 elders was murderous. Master Yim will never leave the Flower City, but we didn't see Lord Yim in the capital of flowers just now, so this is not the real world. 5 elders Satan decisive opening. I just hope now that the guy behind this isn't who I thought he was. Scars on the bald head 5 elders whispered faintly. But the reality is often the opposite of expectations. Unfortunately, I can't think of anyone else except that guy. The white-haired and bearded 5 elders shook his head. At this time, boom. There was a thunder on the peaceful battlefield. That's Marine Legend Vice Admiral here. Garp going crazy. Gar, it's that bastard. Dabg. The 5 elders all stared wide-eyed and cursed. Naval Headquarters, atop the battlefield. The war between Marine and the Whitebeard pirates is over. The next thing to do is to treat the wounded and clean up the battlefield. Ghost Spider Vice Admiral, what to do with the corpse of 4 Emperors Whitebeard? A sailor looked at the standing Whitebeard and shuddered suddenly. Does that matter? Cut off Whitebeard's head, of course, and declare our victory to the world. The Vice Admiral Ghost Spider naturally stopped drinking. Yes, the sailors stepped forward immediately, going to kill the dead Whitebeard. However, at this time, don't wait for the sailors to approach. Without warning, an invisible pressure descended, overwhelmed the sailors approaching Whitebeard. Nani, why is this happening? Is Whitebeard still alive? How ... How is this possible? The sailors all screamed in horror. Go away, you're nothing but dead. Lately, the Vice Admiral Ghost Spider said that he was ready to do it himself, but didn't wait to get close. Next second, the invisible heavy pressure also fell on him. Even as the Naval Headquarters Elite Vice Admiral, he is bent over. Marshal Sengoku, something is wrong. Whitebeard cheated. The green-haired Commodore Brandon yelled to report. To this, Marshal Sengoku ignored it. His eyes were only locked on his best friend Garp. Watch Garp step by step towards the building that represents marine injustice. Kai. Thick black and red conqueror's lightning coiled around Garp's fist. Garp, what exactly are you trying to do? Marshal Sengoku stopped drinking. In my heart, I just think that Garp is too traumatized and wants to vent. After all, for Garp, Ace is also his grandson. Witnessing his grandson being killed in front of him, it is rare for him to be able to endure until now. But, even if it is to vent, you must not make fun of the headquarters building. The Naval Headquarters building, which has stood for hundreds of years, has inherited the souls of marine martyrs from generation to generation, which is one of the most important symbols of marine. Garp, Stop now. Enough is almost enough. Marshal Sengoku yelled again. Don't stop me, Sengoku. I'm here to expose this false war hoax. It's almost time to come out. Here Garp leaps to his feet. Fists wrapped in black and red conqueror's lightning slammed into the naval headquarters building. Fist, bone, punch, punch, boom, rumble. Under Garp's punch enough to shatter the town. The naval headquarters building, which had been dilapidated in the Whitebeard shock, completely collapsed at this moment. Well, alas. WHWHY, why did Mr. Garp attack the headquarters building? That is the symbol of justice for our naval headquarters. Mr. Garp, what are you doing? The sailors all over the headquarters couldn't help shouting in shock. Hey, look, someone has appeared over there. Say Buddy Islands, Live Plaza. Hey, take a look. Something terrible has happened in naval headquarters again. That's Marine hero Vice Admiral Garp. Vice Admiral Garp turned out to be food. Vice Admiral Garp destroyed the naval headquarters building with one punch. What the hell is Vice Admiral Garp doing? Why do you want to attack your base camp? I can't understand it at all. The people who eat melons all over the square are in an uproar. Oh. Look, there is someone above the headquarters building. That man is, can't go wrong. That man is Fairy Tail, President of Fairy Tail. 4 Emperors Suyu. The second 4 Emperors appeared. No. 4 Emperors Suyu came out of the headquarters building. Could it be that Suyu, the president of Fairy Tail, has been on the battlefield all the time? Chapter 205, Suyu Zhiwei, kill Vice Admiral with one look. Subscribe. Sing the world. Naval headquarters. The battlefield that was supposed to calm down was once again turbulent, all because of the appearance of a man. 4 Emperors Suyu. New 4 Emperors Suyu. Fairy Tail Chairman 4 Emperors Suyu. Why is the president of Fairy Tail here? The reason why Vice Admiral Garp made the move was because he noticed. Did you get it? So that means, the 4 Emperors Suyu has always been there? While we were at war with the Whitebeard pirates, there was always another 4 Emperors there. Could it be said that Suyu, the 4 Emperors, is the reinforcement invited by the Whitebeard pirates? Because, there have always been rumors of their alliance in the sea. Our headquarters has always had a second 4 Emperors. It's really scary. However, 4 Emperors Suyu should not be Whitebeard's reinforcements. After all, we have already won this battle. Ah, that's right. The Whitebeard pirate group has almost been wiped out, and the 4 Emperors Suyu has never made a move. He shouldn't be here to help Whitebeard. At this point, even if he really wants to help the Whitebeard pirates, it's already too late. He can't help revolving heaven. So if it's not to help Whitebeard, then what is he here for? Is it a friendly army invited by Marshal Sengoku to hold the line? No. If that's the case, Vice Admiral Garp can't possibly not know about it, and it's impossible for Vice Admiral Garp to make a move. All over the headquarters, the shocking shouts of the sailors came one after another, forming one after another. President Suyu, what do you mean? What are you doing here at naval headquarters today? On the execution platform, Marshal Sengoku asked loudly. The sound spread throughout the battlefield through the small phone bug. The battle between your marine and the Whitebeard pirates is a once-in-a-century event. Everyone wants to watch it, and I am no exception. Suyu spoke lightly. Then now that you've finished watching the excitement, you should go. Marshal Sengoku said. What? Is Marshal Sengoku not welcoming me so much? It's rare that I have accepted your marine's commission and come here to help you reduce damage. Suyu shook his head. Don't say these sanctimonious words hypocritically. As far as the result is concerned, you didn't do anything at all. If you really came to help, you should have come out and wiped out the Whitebeard gang with us as soon as possible. The Vice Admiral Ghost Spider snapped. You didn't come to help at all. You were the one who stopped us from beheading Whitebeard just now. The Ghost Spider, who had experienced Suyu's gravity for a while, suddenly understood the source of the strange oppression before. Noisy. Suyu glanced at the Vice Admiral Ghost Spider. Just a look. Boom. Unparalleled supergravity descends. In an instant, he overwhelmed the powerful headquarters elite Vice Admiral Ghost Spider, and the whole person fell into heaven and earth. Ouch. The Vice Admiral Ghost Spider opened its mouth and spat out a mouthful of blood. What are you doing? Marshal Sengoku's eyes suddenly turned cold. This guy talks too loudly. It scares my girl. Suyu lowered his head and touched the little head of the god girl. Marine executives. It's just that the voice was a little louder, and he was beaten until he vomited blood. No, not fight. Just a look. Just one look from Suyu made the Ghost Spider, who is the Marine Elite Vice Admiral, vomit blood. This strength is already beyond the scope of terror. The other Marine Vice Admirals who were about to say something all shut their mouths, for fear of following in the footsteps of Ghost Spiders. For a while, the huge naval headquarters could not help being silent. At the same time, floating Sky Island Plaza, just one glance killed Vice Admiral of Naval Headquarters in seconds, overwhelming the entire naval headquarters with one person, really worthy of President Subao. Golden Lion Shiki laughed wantonly and praised. The other side. President. The president is really in naval headquarters. I knew that the president would definitely show up. But the president is clearly here, so why didn't he do anything? Does the president also feel that there is no need to get involved? and just go to naval headquarters to watch the fun? Nami, Vivi, Khalifa and others were both surprised and confused. No, 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 Juvia suddenly yelled emotionally. The point is not what the president did or didn't do. What we should really pay attention to now is the woman in the president's arms. Where is that guy? It is unforgivable to seduce the president behind our backs. Ask for flowers. Juvia grieved. She can calmly accept that the sisters in the guild share Suyu. But, for outsiders who don't even know their names, Juvia still maintains a repulsive attitude. Listen to what Juvia said. The eyes of the other girls also locked on Yutan Suyu's arms. The president slipped away quietly, so he went to find another woman behind our backs? Runty pursed her mouth, feeling jealous. Why is it like this? We're already there, Khalifa muttered under his breath. It seems that our offensive is not enough. The president still has more power. A little devil-like smile appeared on Myra's gentle and pretty face. At this moment, Vivi on the side exhaled softly. What happened? Nami asked hastily. I know that girl, Vivi said. That's Miss Yuta. Wendy nodded. Princess Yuta, the red-haired singer. Her singing voice can be said to be the best in the world. Perona nodded in agreement. Indeed, Yuta's singing voice is very moving. Erza also nodded. Alas, Wendy, Vivi. Do you all know that girl? Nami looked surprised. Because occasionally you need to fight bosses with Myra, Robin and others. Nami and her best friend Vivi don't do missions together every time. So, when the adult group completes the guild's daily tasks, Vivi and other children's group members happen to meet Yuta's concert during the mission. I really didn't expect that Princess Yuta is also our partner. The president is really serious. Such an important matter should have been told to us earlier. In this way, we can hear Miss Yuta singing every day. The girls in the children group were pleasantly surprised but also complained. Well, anyway, now that the president has appeared, let's go to. The butler Myra clapped her hands and gave the order to attack. Again. Chapter 206 Super Magic Fairy Ball. Yutavzak Akainu. Subscribe. Sing the world. The huge naval headquarters battlefield froze because of Suyu's eyes. This situation shocked the people who eat melons in the islands of Sepadi. You must know that the current naval headquarters has assembled the total combat power from all over the world. Just now, they even wiped out the Whitebeard pirate group, which is known as the strongest in the world. After the war, although Marine also suffered heavy losses, more than half of the casualties, but the combat power is still very impressive. It is such a naval headquarters, but it is captured by the eyes of the four emperors. The reason, in addition to the positive image of Fairy Tail, Marine doesn't want to be against it. More importantly, because Suyu and Fairy Tail are strong enough. The Whitebeard pirates have the filters of the times, and are called the strongest by the world. But Sengoku and Marine's high-level executives knew about it. The overall strength of Fairy Tail has already surpassed the Whitebeard pirates. In the face of absolute strength, the number of people cannot play a reverse role. More than half a year ago, the 20,000 army of Beasts pirates was wiped out by Fairy Tail. Even if the Whitebeard pirates have an army of 50,000, the result of facing Fairy Tail will not be much better than 100 Beasts. The same way, now their naval headquarters does the same. If there is a conflict with Suyu at this juncture, not only are the seriously injured sailors who are still alive unable to receive timely treatment, but huge casualties will continue to increase. This moment, of course, the most disturbing person about this situation is Marshal Sengoku, especially when he saw Garp, who forced Suyu out, approaching as if he had nothing to do with him. Sengoku became more and more upset. After all, if Garp didn't take action, Suyu watched the war silently as a spectator and left quietly, and nothing would happen. Sengoku, I know what you want to say, but today's war is probably not over yet. It's like a dream, Garp said quietly. Before that, it was because I didn't know who was behind the scenes. Garp is always on the alert. But now, after knowing it was Suyu, Garp was relieved. Instead, even the melancholy about the death of my grandson has been reduced a lot, because he had a premonition. Garp, what the hell do you guys mean? Marshal Sengoku thumped in his heart, feeling an ominous premonition. Sengoku, there is bad news. Chief of Staff Vice Admiral Crane came before Marshal Sengoku. I just tried to contact the outside world to inform the news of the war, but all the means of communication have failed. The signal cannot be transmitted, or there is no place to transmit and receive it. Well, Marshal Sengoku was taken aback, some incomprehensible for a while. At this time, the battlefield situation reappears. Boom, bang 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 bang. The sound of continuous artillery fire exploded. The shells were like rain, shooting towards the place where Suyu and Yuta were. The fireworks exploded, and the smoke filled the audience. Nani, who ordered the bombardment? Marshal Sengoku was shocked. It's the old man. Admiral Akainu appeared. Mr. Sengoku, this is the sacred naval headquarters. We have just defeated the Whitebeard pirates. Now how can we allow a thief to be reckless in the headquarters and bully our compatriots wantonly? Everyone is watching, and the world is also watching. Admiral Akainu's impassioned opening. Marshal Sengoku was silent, because what Akainu said is true. Suyu bullied Marine's elite vice admiral in their marine headquarters. As a marshal, he dared not fart. This was undoubtedly a thunderbolt for the sailors who had just won the battle. The joy of winning the Whitebeard pirates was gone, and even the morale of the army was shaken. Even knowing this would happen, Marshal Sengoku still didn't want to conflict with Tsuyu. For the past 6 months, because of world government's interference, the relationship between Marine and Fairy Tail has dropped to a freezing point. Fortunately in misfortune, the two sides did not break out irreparable large-scale conflicts. But Marshal Sengoku knew that Tsuyu must have accumulated a lot of dissatisfaction in his heart. If it erupts, it will be the wrath of thunder. The other side. The sound of gunfire paused. Wait until the smoke clears. As many people expected, Tsuyu and Yuta remained unscathed. There is a golden barrier around the two of them. 0. This is the 3 super magics of the fairies. The fairy ball? No. Although Tsuyu got the fairy ball from the guild's reward. But right now this barrier is not his handwriting. Besides, it's just shelling. Where can I use super magic to resist? The barrier in front of me was made by Yuta. Here is the singing world. Belongs to Yuta's world. It's here. Yuta's the rule, omnipotent. Yuta, it's my duty to protect you. I told you so. Tsuyu touched Yuta's little head. But I also want to do something for the chairman, and Yuta hesitated to speak. The words are not finished. Grunt tilde, gulu gulu tilde. The earth is bubbling. Black and red-hot lava flows over the ruined naval headquarters. Pieces of black smoke swept along with astonishing heat waves. That's Admiral Akainu, naval headquarters' highest combat power, attacking. The old man has already said that this is the sacred naval headquarters, not a place for you thieves to talk about love. Admiral Akainu burst into sullenness. The terrifying magma dog head that had penetrated the body of 4 Emperors Whitebeard several times and caused his death traversed the atmosphere and attacked Tsubo and Yuta. Facing Admiral's onslaught, Tsuyu 3.4 was not afraid at all, and the expression on his face remained unchanged from the beginning to the end. Under the spotlight, the battle between 4 Emperors and Admiral is about to break out again. Next moment, the amazing thing happened again. Without waiting for Tsuyu to attack, Yuta took the lead. With the red lips parted slightly, a heavenly singing sounded. Admiral Akainu's ferocious offensive stopped abruptly. The terrifying high-temperature magma that could burn through the atmosphere stagnated without warning. Immediately afterwards, under the gaze of everyone shocked, the magma punched by Admiral Akainu disintegrated. It turned into notes all over the sky and dissipated between heaven and earth. The scene instantly changed from horror to beauty. This sudden scene change shocked everyone inside and outside the battlefield. Chapter 207 5 Elders. This is the power of the fruit of songs! Subscribe. Saipadi Islands. Number 30 Red Tree, Live Square. The reporters and the people who eat melons are in an uproar again. With the appearance of the second 4 Emperors Tsuyu, the attention of the people who eat melons is also diverted. No longer explore the reasons why the people of Saipadi went to Shisora. By contrast, the purpose of 4 Emperors Tsuyu's appearance at naval headquarters is even more touching. After this, at the command of Admiral Akainu, countless artillery fire hit Tsuyu. Watching this scene, the people who eat melons can't help but feel upset, because they know a second major incident may occur today. Reporters have their pens and ink ready. As expected, Admiral Akainu, who is the MVP of today's battle, rose again and launched a fierce attack on the second-place 4 Emperors. Just when everyone thought that a new war of generals and emperors was about to start, something that no one expected happened. Tsuyu didn't make a move, and the red-haired girl beside him just sang a few words and stopped Admiral Akainu's offensive at 30. Hey, what's going on? What the hell happened to Fairy Tail? The girl who followed 4 Emperors Tsuyu should also be a member of Fairy Tail. It was so easy to defuse Admiral Akainu's magma fist. That's also the heavy punch of Admiral who killed 4 Emperors Whitebeard. Does that red-haired girl also have Admiral-level combat power? How could it be? Erza the Fairy Queen, Mirajan the Demon, Uru the Ice Magician, Wendy the Sky Priestess, Urdia the Manipulator of Time. Fairy Tail, they already have so much power. Now, out of nowhere, there's a young girl who can wrestle with Admiral. That 4 Emperors Tsuyu. Where did he find so many powerful girls? Outside there are powerful girls who charge forward, and inside there are girls who serve diligently. What a fairy life this is. It's really enviable. The people who eat melons can't help but turn their eyes red, turning into pink-eye patients. Before Fairy Tail, the only women who could fight in the sea were the Pirate Queen and Big Mom, but after Fairy Tail came out, in just over a year, so many powerful female combat powers emerged. It is simply inexplicable. Heimingskilachmanapu shook his head again and again, able to dispel that Akainu's heavy punch. That weak-looking red-haired girl is no ordinary person. Mafia Godfather Capone Big looked solemn. Now what I want to know is how did that girl stop Admiral Akainu? Corrupted Marine Rear Admiral Drake whispers. Is it really someone with some kind of ability? Was it the song that turned the magma into musical notes? Sky Island Strange Monker or Ooze thinks elbow. What you need to think about now is not this, that singing voice. Don't you feel familiar? Trafalgar Law, the Surgeon of Death, grimaced. It really is Fairy Tail. Captain Kidd clenched his fists. Kidd. What do you mean? That's right, that girl's singing was the first thing we heard, And that's where all the weird events started. World Center, Holy Land, Mary E. Joyce. Damn fairy tale. Damn fairy tale. It's all because of fairy tale. In the face of fairy tale, the privileges of our world nobles are useless. We are celestial dragons. We are descendants of the gods. But those guys. It is unforgivable. Absolutely unforgivable to provoke the authority of our celestial dragons again and again. In the social square of Pang'u City, the calm smiles on the faces of the celestial dragons were no longer there. All of them were full of anger and kept making noises. All because of Suyu's appearance. Because during the past half a year or so, there have been more than one celestial dragon's attacks in the world. The tragedies at Roswell's house in Saipadi happened one after another. The culprits are all fairy tale. Some are due to delegation. In addition, there are several incidents where fairy tale girls drew their swords to help when they saw injustice. Seeing celestial dragons, if they don't beat them up, they will be ashamed to return to the guild. Of course, provoking celestial dragons will draw Admiral's pursuit, a necessary process. It still happens every time. Only, for Admiral's pursuit, the fairy tale girls didn't take it to heart at all. Each squad is led by a strong captain. Coupled with the tacit cooperation of the fairy tale girls, even Admiral can't help them. Alu, Arushia, Runti, Yamato and others became famous all over the world through these incidents. Gradually, after one defeat after another, the celestial dragons know it too. Admiral's pursuit has almost zero deterrent effect on fairy tale. I want to avoid being targeted by fairy tale and protect my own life. You can only reduce the number of times you go out, and it is best not to go out. But, if so, what is the difference between going to jail? If they don't go out, how can they demonstrate the nobility and privileges of the world's nobles in front of the untouchables? This is a paradoxical question. If you don't go out, you will be frustrated. If you go out, you may be beaten or even killed. As the nobles of the 020 world, they have never been so wronged in the past 800 years. The resentment of celestial dragons towards fairy tale is also growing day by day. Now it broke out with Suyu's appearance. Marines bastards, what the hell are they doing? Hurry up and take down that bastard for me. Even the 4 Emperor's Whitebeard pirates have been taken down. Why are you afraid of that? Now that Marine has so many people and so much strength, it's a great time to take down that bastard. Only this pariah is absolutely unforgivable. After I take it down, I will make him a slave. And those arrogant women from fairy tale, all want to become Kang. Come on, let's get the 5 elders to order. This time, we absolutely must not let that bastard run away again. The celestial dragons are filled with righteous indignation and want to form a group to put pressure on the 5 elders and the government. This moment, inside Pang'u City, 5 Elders Council Hall. The eyes of the 5 most powerful people in the world widened. An expression of extreme shock and horror could not be suppressed on the old faces. Before before that was. Could it be that? Where we are now? Yes, there can be no mistake. This is the world of singing opened up by those who have the ability to sing fruit. Chapter 208 Crushing. Suyu beat Admiral Akainu violently. Subscribe. Holy Land, Mary E. Joyce, 5 Elders Council Hall. Singing fruit. That girl is a user with the ability of singing fruit. 5 Elders Satan's eyes were wide open, and he couldn't help but shout out blindly. No mistake, it must be the fruit of songs. Damn it. We got caught too. To be able to use the judge fruit to this extent, the compatibility between that girl and this fruit is simply too high. The other 5 elders couldn't help shouting. Devil fruit is a unique force in this world. Originally, before eating the fruit, no one will know what ability they are eating. But, hundreds of years of historical inheritance, before eating devil fruit, many people preserved its shape through painting, and then added the name of its ability. Over time, devil fruit also appeared in the illustrated book, spread among the major forces in the world. The devil fruit illustrated book in the hands of the world government is undoubtedly the most complete in the world. Many devil fruits that other forces do not know are recorded in the illustrated book of the world government. There are even fruits that have changed their names under the influence of the government, such as the Straw Hat Boy's sun god Nika. The singing fruit owned by Ut also exists in the Devil Fruit Illustrated Book of the World Government, and the rating of this fruit is not below the top logia such as Frozen, Magma, and Flash, all because of the powerful rules of this fruit ability. As long as you hear the singing of the capable person, the soul is drawn into the world of singing. Even the top powerhouses cannot be immune to this absolute power of rules. People who are drawn into the world of singing feel nothing unusual. If it weren't for Uta's use of singing to defuse Akainu's offensive, not even the well-informed 5 elders imagined that they were in another world. Also, hundreds of years ago, this devil fruit's ability user has caused extremely terrible events. It directly or indirectly led to the birth of the Demon King of Songs. It caused huge losses to the world and the government at that time. Most people don't know this, but the 5 elders know it all too well. Damn it, it turned out to be a singing fruit ability user, although we have now been brought to the singing world created by the ability user. Blonde and bearded 5 elders looked dull. Compared to this, the biggest problem now is naval headquarters. Bald Scar 5 elders gritted his teeth. Not surprisingly, the entire naval headquarters and Whitebeard pirates are also singing to the world, and everything that happened before is in a sense a dream bubble. White hair and Whitebeard 5 elders' complexion is extremely ugly. That said, the execution of Firefist Ace and the destruction of the Whitebeard pirates have yet to happen, and what's worse is if Fairy Tail really wants to do something. Thinking of a certain possibility, the Swordsman 5 elders couldn't help but palpitate. Naval headquarters. Unbelievable. That girl blocked Sakazuki Admiral's attack. That's a magma punch that even Whitebeard can't block. However, and what happened before? What did that girl do? Sakazuki Admiral's magma turned into musical notes. Is this some kind of ability? All over the headquarters, the marine elites couldn't help being in an uproar. Listening to the discussions from all directions, Admiral Akainu's face darkened suddenly, and he snorted coldly. In the face of absolute power, such small means are meaningless. Admiral Akainu strikes again. Dog nibbles Red Lotus. The big move that broke through for Emperor's Whitebeard before exploded again. The ferocious black-red magma dog head roared and rushed out. In addition to the high temperature and high explosive characteristics of the magma itself, Admiral Akainu also has the mighty armament haki attached to the dog's head. With this blow, Admiral Akainu won the heads of countless pirates. However, facing the terrifying magma dog head, Tsuyu didn't dodge or avoid it. When he raised his hand, the dark red flame of the Yanlong King rushed out. In an instant, Admiral Akainu's magma dog's head was wrapped. It's useless, you are just fire, and I am magma that can burn out even the flames. With your flames, you can't win. Before Admiral Akainu could finish his smug words, the next second he stopped abruptly, because, under the high temperature of Tsuyu's Yanlong King flame, as a magma, he was burned for the first time. Boom! The head of the magma dog wrapped in dark red flames exploded. Admiral Akainu fell backwards, with burn marks on his right arm. Akainu, is your magma only this level? Tsuyu sneered. No. It's impossible. How can a mere flame? Halfway through Admiral Akainu's words, his pupils shrank, because Tsuyu had disappeared from his sight. Next second, only a loud bang was heard. Admiral Akainu was wrapped in raging flames and flew backwards. A big mouthful of blood spewed out from the opening of the mouth, and the blood was evaporated by the high temperature before it hit the ground. It's not over yet. There was a flash of lightning. The same words are returned to you. In the face of absolute power, your fancy little tricks are meaningless. Tsuyu caught up with Admiral Akainu, who was flying upside down. Under the horrified eyes of people in naval headquarters, Saibadi and other places. Brutally beaten Admiral Akainu, Marine's top fighter, the Rising Dragon, which contained the true injury of the flame of the Dragon King, punched Admiral Akainu on the chin and sent him flying into the sky. Immediately after the lightning flashed again, Tsuyu soared into the sky, and kicked Akainu to the ground with one foot. Then it was sent to the sky with a punch. This scene made all the sailors hold their breath in horror. Goodly how, this is no longer a duel, but a unilateral crush and beating. In front of the four emperors, Tsuyu, naval headquarters' highest combat power, Admiral, was as powerless as a child. I don't know how long it has been. Enough. A loud and majestic shout sounded from the headquarters. It was Marshal Sengoku roaring. The situation has developed to the point where a genius will be beaten violently in the headquarters. As the marshal, he naturally could no longer remain indifferent. With Marshal Sengoku's voice fell. There was only a bang. Admiral Akainu fell to the ground covered in bruises. The drama of beating Admiral was suspended. But it wasn't because of Marshal Sengoku's shout. It was because of the people who suddenly appeared on the battlefield in the headquarters. Pluton Rayleigh, Pirate Straw Hat Luffy, Chief of Staff of the Revolutionary Army Sabo, 3 army captains, Hexia Jinbei, Crocodile and Pirate Blackbeard. Now, Chapter 209. The Blackbeard Gang, show up on top! Subscribe. Go back in time a little. In the world of singing, the Whitebeard pirates broke into the square inches the bay. In the real world, the Straw Hat brothers went all the way to the execution platform unimpeded. Ace, Straw Hat Luffy stepped forward excitedly, hugged his brother, and kept calling and shaking. However, there was no response from Ace. Luffy, Ace must have fallen asleep like everyone else. Let's take Ace out of this dangerous place first, said Sabo. Straw Hat Luffy nodded. Even pulling the iron chain just touched the whole person, but he couldn't help but limp. I can't use my strength. This is a sea stone chain. Give it to me. Sabo's right hand is like a dragon's claw. The mighty armament haki is attached to break the chains. However, even Sabo's dragon claw fist couldn't shake the nearly 100% pure sea stone chain. Will the key be with the Marine Marshal? The crow transformed by Karas, the Lodiasut fruit ability user, reminded. Heard the words. Straw Hat Luffy's eyes lit up. Dang, even planned to rummage for Marshal Sengoku, who was sleeping beside him. Wait, Luffy, don't act rashly. Sabo hastily stopped. The 487 powerhouses have a wonderful sense of knowledge and color perception. Although I don't know what state they are in now, if they touch it rashly, it may wake him up instead. Sabo voiced his concerns. And what about Ace's sea stone handcuffs? The Straw Hat Kid stared wide-eyed. If the handcuffs can't be undone for a while, then just take it off with a board underneath. Confederate Army Commander Lindbergh gave his thoughts. Good idea. Sabo's eyes lit up. Change goals immediately. Fingers pierced the wooden board of the execution platform like cutting tofu. Cut out the board that attaches the chain. Success. Escaped now, Luffy. Sabo got Ace on his back and ran away. Oh. The Straw Hat Kid responded excitedly. It didn't take long for the two to escape. Suddenly, Sabo's complexion changed. He keenly noticed that Ace's breathing and heartbeat on his back were chaotic and weak. The other side. Whale Bow. Rayleigh felt something. Look up at the four Emperors. Whitebeard standing tall. 2 lines of tears rolled down Whitebeard's resolute face involuntarily. Newgate, what happened to your side? Rayleigh murmured softly. Base Square. Sabo, what's going on? Ace. Ace's life is stuck burning. Damn it. Can't stop. The smile on Luffy's face disappeared. What emerged instead was extreme panic and fear. Fortunately, in misfortune, the burning of life cards will stop after reaching a certain level. Although a lot of it was burned, a little was left behind. As long as it is not completely burnt out, it means that it is still alive and there is hope. Cool. Confirming that Ace's vital signs are still alive, both Sabo and Luffy can't help but let out a sigh of relief. Next second, unexpected turn of events, or unexpected people appear. The darkness surged without warning. Hey, who can tell me what's going on here now? On the execution platform, 10 tall and burly people appeared collectively facing the vicious group. The one who is tall, fat and ugly is the new Shikibukai Blackbeard Marshal D. 1 hour before the summit war starts, the Blackbeard gang, summoned by Marine as Shikibukai, quietly disappeared from naval headquarters. Does anyone know where they went? On the eve of the war with Whitebeard, Marine didn't care about Blackbeard. Blackbeard also calculated exactly this point. So he deliberately acted at this point in time. No, since the day the Ace was captured, his plan had already begun. Wage Whitebeard versus Marine all-out war with Ace. Taking advantage of Marine's total combat power being delayed by their Bbook, Whitebeard pirates, he is quietly pushing towards the deep-sea prison Impel Down, relying on Lafayette's hypnosis ability. Justice's Gate is no problem for them. The Blackbeards made it all the way to Impel Down without hindrance. This time, though, there was no riot from the Straw Hat Boy. But the results still haven't changed much. It's nothing more than a few more twists and turns. Finally, with the help of former Warden Chang Yazisha, Blackbeard Teach still sparked the Impel Down riots, opened the cage of eternal hell and summoned the needed partners, then turned back from Impel Down, back to naval headquarters, ready to pick up the leak. Follow his plan. When he returns from Impel Down, the war at naval headquarters should also come to an end. Although Whitebeard is strong, he can't stand the wheel battle of the marine powers. When Whitebeard was seriously injured and dying, he reappeared, took Whitebeard's head, took away the strongest paramecia shock fruit, and climbed to the top of the sea. Everything was so perfect. Everything should develop like this. However, what is the situation right now? Early in the landfall from the naval headquarters back bank family towns, the Blackbeard Teach gang had sensed something was wrong. Why is naval headquarters, the biggest battlefield of this era, so quiet? Until I came to this battlefield, they were shocked to discover why the battlefield was so quiet. Marine and pirates, with a total of 150,000 people on both sides, all fell. Hey, what the hell is going on? Shouldn't today be a war? Why is it like this? On the execution platform, Blackbeard Teach yelled and shook his head in disbelief. 100,000 Marine elites and the Whitebeard pirates. What happened to them? Did they die together? Fighting champions Ishasi Burgess screamed. No, everyone is still alive, and this battlefield doesn't look like it has experienced battle. Otokoshi Fanuka looked solemn. In this situation, that is to say, at the moment when the Whitebeard pirates and Marine are about to start a battle, is there any power that makes everyone on this battlefield unconscious? The former Impel Down guard Shura narrowed his eyes slightly. How could such a thing happen? Meow. Even the mightiest conqueror's Haki can't do it. Who the hell is it? Is it a god? The others are not in chaos for now, but the 4 emperors Whitebeard, the Marines Marshal, Admiral, and the heroes will not fall down so easily. The villainous King Avalo Pizarro, the Big Wine Barrel Basque Cho 8, and the Crescent Moon Hunter Katarina Depan spoke one after another. If it's the man's masterpiece, it won't be too surprising. The original Shikibukai Crocodile locked his eyes on Suyu, and opened his mouth faintly. Chapter 210 God avoids hegemony and kills the Blackbeards! Subscribe. That man. Which guy? Mother snore. That young man? Looks good. My type. The evil King Avalo Pizarro, the Big Wine Barrel Basque Cho 8, and the Crescent Moon Hunter Catalina Depan followed Crocodile's line of sight and saw Suyu sleeping on the cushion power boat. Thief. Ha. This really surprised me. I didn't expect Suyu, the new president of Fairy Tail's 4 emperors, to be in this battlefield. Blackbeard Teach forced a smile to hide the throbbing in his heart. Nanny. That man is the new 4 emperors. He's still just a brat. The villainous King Avalo Pizarro was taken aback. Don't underestimate that man. Suyu, the president of Fairy Tail, was the man who defeated the 4 emperors Kaido of the Beasts in a one-on-one duel. He has a lot of talents under his command, but he hasn't seen a fairy yet. the tail of the others. Devil Sergeant Lafayette spoke solemnly. Only that man. Don't provoke him easily. Blackbeard Teach added subconsciously. Are you scared? Teach. Albolo Pizarro, the villainous king, gave Blackbeard a sideways look. Don't forget, the agreement reached between us. Isn't our goal of coming to this battlefield the 4 emperors? Crescent Moon Hunter Katarina Deppen reminded. Whether it's 4 emperors Whitebeard or the new 4 emperors Suyu, if you want to achieve great things, you can't be afraid. Besides, although we don't know what the situation is, isn't it the best time for us to do it? High Marshal Marine Admiral, Emperor of the Sea, can I kill them all? The big barrel Basque Cho 8 hiccuped and looked around the battlefield with small treacherous eyes. Thief, ha 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 ha. That's true. Although I don't know what's going on, but this situation is perfect for us. Now this is my hunting ground, and I can hunt as much as I want. The ability you need. Blackbeard Teach laughed wantonly. Captain Teach, look over there. Otokoshi Fanuka pointed in a certain direction. Oh no. The curvature of Blackbeard Teach's face widened a bit. Aren't these Ace's brothers, Sabo, the chief of staff of the Revolutionary Army, and the Straw Hat Boy? Did you come to the battlefield to save Ace? Congratulations. Blackbeard Marshal Teach. Sabo's face was gloomy. More than half a year ago, he had met Teach when he was a guest on Whitebeard's ship. At that time, I thought this was a simple and honest big brother. There was even talk of Blackbeard taking care of the young and impulsive Ace. The result was never thought of. The simple and honest appearance is just a disguise. That guy was from Magic Valley Town. Straw Hat Luffy also recognized Blackbeard. Several months ago, those who entered the Grand Line were attracted by the legend of the Golden Town of Sky Island, and once visited Magic Valley Town and Gaia. There, the Straw Hat crew and the Blackbeard gang encounter. Hearing Blackbeard's name again is at Shaki's rip-off bar. From Shaki, Straw Hat Luffy learned that his brother Ace was defeated by Blackbeard. Well, it's you, the bastard who gave Ace to Marine. Straw Hat Luffy clenched his fists. That's right, it's me. Originally, my goal was yours, but Captain Ace suffered instead of you. But thanks to this, the situation today is here. Blackbeard Teach responded with a smile. Blackbeard. The Straw Hat Luffy entered second gear in seconds, and hot steam rose from his body. Wait, Luffy. Sabo quickly grabbed the impulsive Straw Hat Boy. But Sabo, that guy is. I know, but now is not the time for such things, Sabo said in a deep voice. Thief, ha ha ha. You are indeed the chief of staff of the Revolutionary Army, Straw Hat Boy. You really have 2 good brothers. Ace saved you once, and now Sabo saved you again. Blackbeard Teach said smugly. Well, if possible, I don't want to put too much effort on you. Ace is useless to me. You can take it away if you want, and don't interfere with what we are going to do next. Zero looking for flowers. Blackbeard Teach turned heads. Eyes fell on Marshal Sengoku on the execution platform. As the old man of the Whitebeard pirates, it's not the first time he's dealt with Marine Admiral Sengoku. Zone's human fruit is in the form of a giant Buddha of phantom beasts, and Marine's Marshal also has impressive abilities. Let's start with him. Blackbeard Teach grinned. Marshal Marine's head. I took it. The villainous King Avalo Pizarro pulled out a small pistol and pointed it at Sengoku's head. Then I'll take the heads of the admirals. That bastard Garp is here too. This guy's head is mine. The big wine barrel Basque Cho 8, the Crescent Moon Hunter Katarina Deppen and others spoke one after another, and they were about to make a move. At this time, sudden change. A great sense of crisis hit the hearts of the Blackbeard gang. Without warning, a figure soared into the sky and climbed to the top of the execution platform. The sword edge entwined with black and red conqueror's lightning slashed out. God avoids. A huge shockwave of sword energy hit the 9 people headed by Blackbeard. In an instant, everyone was sent flying out of the execution platform. Hateful. Damn it. Who? It's conquerors winding. The Blackbeards in the fallen square were swearing a lot. Fighting champions Yishobugi, Yinfanuka, Dukyu and others even opened their mouths to spit out a mouthful of blood. Who the hell? Next moment, the answer is revealed. Wait to see Pluton Rayleigh appear on the scaffold. The pupils of everyone headed by Blackbeard couldn't help constricting. Pluton Rayleigh, Pluton Silver Rayleigh, the right hand of the One Piece. Legends of the past. Damn Rayleigh. Blackbeard spat. I didn't ask you to provoke you, and what I want to kill is Marine, and it has nothing to do with you as a pirate. Why should you hinder me? Blackbeard Teach yelled in frustration. Chapter 211. Jinbei fights Sand Crocodile. Rayleigh Saboff's Blackbeard gang. Subscribe. Real World. Naval Headquarters. The arrival of Blackbeard and his gang made waves on the silent battlefield. Seeing that the Blackbeard gang is about to succeed, a huge domineering sword energy came across the sky. Knock everyone down, including Blackbeard. Next moment, waiting to recognize the identity of the person who made the shot, Blackbeard's group suddenly exploded with rage. Damn Pluton Rayleigh, Losey's target is Marshal Marine. Why do you, as a pirate, save Marine? Blackbeard Teach exclaimed angrily. It's no good shooting someone who can't move. Blackbeard. Rayleigh spoke lightly. Say it. Without waiting for what Blackbeard said, Rayleigh continued. However, Talking about your character with a guy like you who can kill even a partner is equivalent to playing the piano with a cow. Another reason is that I don't want to see your proud face. In addition to these two reasons, there was a third reason for Ailey's move from Utan Brandish. He already knew that all of this was arranged by Suyu, and the task Suyu gave Brandish was before they woke up. No one should be allowed to destroy this battlefield, since it was Suyu's arrangement. Then Ailey naturally has to cooperate. Damn Ailey bastard. I think you are the light in the toilet, looking for death. The evil King Elburo Pizarro said viciously. Even if you are a legend from the previous era, do you think you can fight against all of us at the same time? What a wishful thinking. Devil Sergeant Lafayette said coldly. It was because of your surprise attack before, and I won't give you any more chances. Since you want to get ahead, I'll take you first. Sure. of the Rain's eyes were cold, and the demon sword Thunderstorm was slowly unsheathed at his waist, and the blade exuded a bloodthirsty cold light. Luffy, ace is on you. Sabo gives the ace to the Straw Hat. Karas, Murray, Lindbergh, help me. Learn. No problem. Here they come. The commanders of the three major revolutionary armies assembled and stepped forward together with Chief of Staff Sabo. Even if you add the revolutionary army, it's only 5 against 10, and we have the advantage. Fighting champion Yashibugi laughed triumphantly. No. Not 5 pairs. Hara Shikibukai Crocodile spoke in a deep voice. I have never promised you anything like these guys. The moment we escaped Impel Down, our alliance was over. What I want to do next is my freedom. Crocodile spoke quietly. Thief, ha 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 ha. Then do as you please. Blackbeard Teach didn't hold back either. 5 against 9. The advantage is still with them. They also have a big guy waiting behind. Crocodile said nothing more. His body suddenly became elemental, floating away towards the ice of the bay. First, I looked at Suyu on the magic power boat. Memories of the past flashed unconsciously in my mind. Crocodile's body couldn't help but tremble. In the end, I suppressed a bold idea in my heart. His gaze also fell on Whitebeard at the bow of the whale. However, before Crocodile made his move, next second, suddenly there was a strange sound from the thick ice layer. Murloc karate, hitting the water. Boom, boom. Small holes were blasted in the ice. Water bombs, more terrifying than bullets, shot up into the sky and pierced Crocodile's body. Murloc Jujutsu sea flow over shoulder throw. Boom. A huge stream of water broke through the ice and blocked Crocodile's path. Among the currents, the whale shark man Jinbei, who is known as the Seaman, walks in the water. Crocodile, I won't let you hit Dad. Jinbei firmly stopped drinking. He was thrown into Impel Down for opposing the war, and he escaped from the prison because of Blackbeard's actions. Thereafter, Jinbei swam along the ocean current all the way, and came to the headquarters one after the other with Blackbeard and his gang. For the current situation of naval headquarters, Jinbei was also shocked, but the reality didn't give him much time to think. Although I don't know what's going on, the things I should do will not change. Jinbei, you bastard, are you really going to stop me? Crocodile's face was gloomy, with black lines in front of his eyes. We, the Fishmen Island, have received the great kindness of my father, and Chairman Suyu has also helped us a lot. Princess Shirahoshi is now a member of Fairy Tail. No matter which one, I will never let you near. Hexia Jinbei's categorical way 0. The Shikibukai war is about to start. The other side. Clang. Gold and Iron clash. The battle between Blackbeard's gang and Rayleigh's gang has begun. Impel Down Shirahoshi, the former caretaker of Long Rain, suddenly rose up, and Rayleigh waved his strength. Rayleigh didn't dodge or evade. Haki countered and knocked Shirahoshi back. Wow tilde. The devil was nervous and Lafayette spread his swan-like wings and soared into the sky. Quack quack tilde. The crows are all over the sky. Karas Logier, commander of the Northern Army of the Revolutionary Army, is in full bloom. A crow made of soot flew out and launched an indiscriminate attack on Blackbeard and his gang. It's so annoying. Blackbeard stopped drinking in exasperation. BZK. Logier Dark Fruit ability, activated. The gravitational force from the darkness locks Karas in the sky, intending to use the Fruit of Darkness to kill the ability user for the first time. Nani. Karas' complexion changed suddenly. He felt his body approaching Blackbeard involuntarily. On the nick of time, the ground in the square rippled like water waves. Suddenly a high wall rose, blocking between Karas and Blackbeard. That was Mori, the commander of the Western Army of the Revolutionary Army. Under the action of Paramecia Push Fruit, the earth follows him like an arm and a finger. Thanks, Moi. Karas thanked him with lingering fear. Don't worry, we are comrades. The giant Shemal Moi gave him a wink. Swish. Blocked by the line of sight of the wall. 4.7 Sabo jumped into the sky in 2s and 3s. Throw a dragon claw punch from the sky at an unsuspecting Blackbeard Teach. Boom. Sabo's claws crushed Blackbeard's head to the ground. Rumble. The ground of the square cracked in violent tremors. Really, in this way, wouldn't it be impossible to fulfill the president's entrustment? On the magic power boat, Brandish frowned in distress. Sure enough, let's send them to the singing world. Yuta rode. But Yuta, can you hold on? Brandish said. It's okay for now. Yuta nodded. Brandish no longer obstructed, backhanded the sound insulation. The melodious sounds of nature echoed over naval headquarters. In an instant, the world returned to silence. Chapter 212, The World's Strongest Man. The arrival of newcomers shocked the audience. Subscribe, sing the world. Saibadi Islands, Live Plaza. Watching the live broadcast on the big screen. Watching the scene of 4 Emperors Suyu beating Admiral Akainu unilaterally. The crowd of reporters and Melanitas who gathered here couldn't help being shocked beyond measure. So much so that even if he is currently out of contact, he can't take care of it at all. Terrible. It's really terrible. Fairy Tail President Suyu, how powerful is he? Seikaizuki Admiral is the highest strength of naval headquarters no matter what. Admiral is not as good as 4 Emperors, but the gap shouldn't be so big. Not to mention, just now, Seikaizuki Admiral beat 4 Emperors Whitebeard. However, Akainu Admiral, who defeated Whitebeard, is now completely defeated by 4 Emperors Suyu. The people eating melons widened their eyes and opened their mouths wide, feeling their mouths dry for a while. No. Strictly speaking, 4 Emperors Whitebeard was not solved by Akainu alone. That's right. At first it was the filial sun sword of the Great Vortex Spider Skuyad's sneak attack, and Whitebeard's fatal wound was indeed caused by Akainu. But the beatings of other sailors are also important. And most importantly, Whitebeard is too old and has too many injuries. In contrast, 4 Emperors Suyu is just in his prime, and he even swiped the 4 Emperors Kaido of the beasts. In this era, Whitebeard is only the strongest in the world in name, but the real strongest is Fairy Tail. More people who eat melons are analyzing it seriously. No, now is not the time to talk about this. It will be bad if it continues. Seikaizuki Admiral will really be beaten to death. A reporter yelled in panic. This is a battle that Akainu himself provoked. Even if he is killed, there is nothing wrong with it. However, when the matter develops to this point, the other strong men in Marine will probably not stand by. Someone guessed. As expected. Next second, on the battlefield, Marshal Sengoku shouted violently. Suyu's unilateral beating on Akainu was also suspended accordingly. The Melanitas in the live broadcast plaza unanimously let out a sigh of relief. It seems that the president of Fairy Tail is not really fearless. In Marine's territory, he didn't dare to go too far. Just give him a step down. Someone sneered. No. Not right. A reporter seemed to see something, and the pupils of his eyes shrank involuntarily. President Suyu stopped beating Admiral not because of Marshal Sengoku, but because of those guys. Look. Incredible guys suddenly appeared on the battlefield. The huge Saibadi square fell into dead silence here. After a while, Straw Hat. That's Straw Hat Luffy. Why did the Straw Hat suddenly appear on the battlefield? How did he appear? Did he teleport suddenly? This year's supernova pirates stared in shock. The point is not the Straw Hat kid. Look, that guy is a legend from the last era. Pluton Rayleigh. 10 legendary big pirates appeared on the battlefield. Heiming Skillichman groaned strangely. And the original Shikibukai Crocodile, who was defeated by Fairy Tail. Wasn't he already beaten into impel down? Capone Big, the captain of the flame tank pirates, shook his head puzzled. Shikibukai Haixia Jinbei, when did he come? Sky Island Strange Monkero Uj said. And Shikibukai Blackbeard, where has he been since the war? What happened to those guys beside him? Fallen Marine Rear Admiral Drake's eyes are covered with black lines. Yes, there's nothing wrong with it. The new Straw Hats and Pluton Rayleigh are from the outside. Death Sergeant Trafalgar Law spoke with conviction. Sure enough, Fairy Tail is behind it. Captain Kidd clenched his fists. Not just the headquarters battlefield. Saibadi landed live on the square. There is also an increase in personnel. I see, naval headquarters and the islands of Saibadi. All the fallen people came here. Is this also magic? Shaki nodded knowingly, but there was not much panic on his face. Because this is the work of Fairy Tail and Suyu. I have no reservations about Suyu's personality and truth. The silence in Saibadi's plaza lasted for a good moment. Wow! The uproar. Soaring into the sky. Straw Hat. That's Straw Hat Luffy. No. It's not just the Straw Hat kid. Look, that old man 333, he is. That's the legend of the last era, Pluton Silver Rayleigh. The right hand of One Piece. Is that Pluton Rayleigh here to save ex-Captain Roger's son? It's a shame he's late. That young man is Sabo, Chief of Staff of the Revolutionary Army. No doubt, the other 3 guys are the army commanders of the Revolutionary Army. I saw them in the newspaper. And Crocodile, Haixia Jinbei, Shikibukai Blackbeard and the others. Hey, those guys around Blackbeard, why do I feel so bad the more I look at them? Why are the Blackbeard gang wearing impel-down prison uniforms? No, this is not the point. What should really be paid attention to is him. Why did they suddenly appear on the battlefield? The reporters and the melon-eating crowd in the square were in an uproar about this question. It's not just that they want to know. This moment, Straw Hat Boys, Blackbeard and other parties who appeared on the headquarters battlefield. There are also tens of thousands of elites in the headquarters who also witnessed this scene with their own eyes, and they all want to know. Chapter 213, Nympho Empress. Garp and Luffy Sabo. Subscribe. Sing the world. Naval headquarters, atop the battlefield. The fierce battle between the Straw Hats and the Blackbeards came to an abrupt end. Everyone just felt that their spirits were in a trance, and what they saw was quite different. The place is still naval headquarters, yes, but it is too much to ruin compared to the dilapidated naval headquarters. What made them more concerned was the awakened people. Obviously, only a dozen of them were awake here a second ago. It's just a blink of an eye. The Marines all woke up. What is happening? Captain Teach, this is not our dream. Fighting Champion Yisha's buggy's eyes widened, and he murmured unconsciously, Captain, something is wrong with this situation. Something is wrong. Devil Sergeant Lafayette looked solemn and nervous. Or, this is the normal situation. Otokoshi Fanuka said in a deep voice. Is this the naval headquarters that experienced all-out war? The Whitebeard pirates were defeated, and the Marine also suffered heavy losses. Shiro of the Rain narrowed his eyes. But this is completely different from what I saw before. Where is this place? The evil King Elbiro Pizarro couldn't help but panic. Damn it. How did we get here? Crescent Moon Hunter Katarina Dupin's face was gloomy. Wouldn't it be possible to harvest heads wantonly now? The big barrel Basque Cho 8 was talking drunkenly. Not just the Blackbeards. For the sudden change in front of the situation, shock and bewilderment were also written on the faces of the Straw Hats and the others. Illusion and reality. Which side is reality? Confederate Army Commander Lindbergh shook his head. Sabo-kun, where are we now? The giant Shemal Mori asked weakly. Is this the real battlefield? Karas, the commander of the Northern Army, murmured. Is that so? Is that why Newgate you cried just now? Vertical bar? Rayleigh locked his eyes on the standing Whitebeard. His expression darkened. Dad, Mr. Ace, Marco, Joz. Everyone. What the hell is going on here? Hexia Jinbei screamed, looking at the situation on the battlefield in front of him. I just felt that my whole brain was vibrating. Ace, Straw Hat Luffy stared blankly at his hands. The elder brother Ace who was originally held by him has disappeared. Immediately afterwards, he felt something. Suddenly raised his head and looked in the direction of the execution platform. In a pool of dark red blood, Ace fell asleep peacefully. Ace, Sabo. Ace he died. Is Ace dead? The Straw Hat boy's pupils had a big earthquake. Extreme panic and fear enveloped his whole body. His face was pale and his lips were trembling uncontrollably. So much so that I couldn't even utter a complete sentence. No. Ace. Ace is still alive. Sabo also shook his head unacceptably. The other side. Watch the Straw Hats and Blackbeard gang suddenly appear in the headquarters out of nowhere. The huge naval headquarters could not help being silent. A moment. Straw Hat. Naval headquarters Commodore. White Hunter Smoker's shout broke the silence of the headquarters. Someone. Someone suddenly appeared. How could it be? This is our naval headquarters. How could someone invade silently? The Marine elites from all directions shouted out one after another. Compared to this, look, those intruders. The kid in the straw hat, that's Luffy the Straw Hat who caused the Saibadi incident 10 days ago. The man next to him can't be wrong. It's Sabo, Chief of Staff of the Revolutionary Army. There are also 3 army commanders from the Revolutionary Army. Hey, that old man. He is a legend of the last era. The legendary great pirate, the right hand of Roger the Pirate King. Pluton Silver Rayleigh. Wow. An astonishing uproar erupted in naval headquarters. That's the Blackbeard gang. Blackbeard, where did you hide during the war? That man over there is Crocodile, and Seaman Jinbei. Haven't Crocodile and Jinbei been imprisoned in Impel Down? Why are they here? Hey, it's just 2. Look, guys with Blackbeard. The Marine elites who recognize the identity of Shiro and others couldn't help but widen their eyes in horror. Even King Avalo Pizarro, Big Barrel Bacchus Cho 8, Crescent Moon Hunter Katrina Depin, and Shiro, the Watcher of Impel Down. These guys, no matter which one, is a world-class criminal who has been permanently hidden. Why would Blackbeard bring them? Why are the condemned from Impel Down here? What the hell happened to Impel Down? What the hell did Blackbeard do to Impel Down? That's the deep-sea prison Impel Down. Does it mean that Impel Down has been breached? How is Director Magellan? Shocking and horrifying shouts from the Marine elites came one after another, forming a continuous film. Is Impel Down completely lost? This is really bad. Admiral Okaji shook his head. Blackbeard showed up with the prisoners from the big prison, which means that Impel Down has been breached. But at the moment, compared to this, the old man is more concerned about another thing. Admiral Kizaru pouted wretchedly and looked at Tsuyu. Fairy Tail Chairman for Emperor Tsuyu, what have you done? The sharp eagle eyes of Mihawk, the world's #1 swordsman, locked on Tsuyu. Is everything that happened today in Master Tsu's plan? He really deserves to be the man my concubine likes. The pirate Empress Boa Middle. Hancock looks like a Nympho. Tsuyu, what did you do? Marine Admiral Candidate Momousagi-jan frowned deeply, not as relaxed as before. After seeing all kinds of abnormalities, even the dullest person should be aware of something wrong. I hate Zesses. It looks like our Marine was played by that man today. Chief Staff Officer Vice Admiral Crane shook his head. Grandma, what happened to all this? The shaking girl peacock shook her head incomprehensibly. The answer will be revealed soon. The Vice Admiral Crane looks southeast. Marine Legend Vice Admiral here. Garp strode forward and finally stood before Luffy and Sabo. Grandpa, Ace. Is Ace dead? Straw Hat Luffy had teary eyes, and the king burst into tears. Chapter 214 Thunder Flame Dragon King roars and kills 5 elders! Subscribe. Sing the world. Golden Lion's floating sky island. Under the control of the flying pirate Golden Lion Shiki, he is now approaching naval headquarters. This moment, floating Sky Island Plaza. That's the Straw Hat Luffy and Revolutionary Sabo. It's Sabo and his brother Luffy, and Mr. Rayleigh and Jinbei too. The girls cried out in surprise. Is Luffy here to save my brother? Rebby looked slightly gloomy. Ace's brothers. After all, it's too late. If they could have come earlier, the result might have been different. Yamato was also dejected. By the way, how did the Straw Hat Boys appear on the battlefield? Erza looked suspicious. I don't know. They seem to have appeared suddenly. Myra shook her head. If the wars we have seen so far, is it possible that all of them are illusions? Robin guessed. Hallucinations? How is this possible? But if it is the president, maybe it is really possible. Everything that happened so far is under the control of our president. If it's some kind of large-scale magic, maybe it's really possible. Vivi, Perona, Rebecca and other girls all that nodded repeatedly. Then, is there a chance to redeem Ace's death? Oeto. Yamato's eyes lit up. What's going on? We'll have to wait until we meet the president to find out. Urza nodded. Naval headquarters. On top of the battlefield. Grandpa, Ace. Is Ace really dead? He was fine just now. But now, looking at his brother Ace who died on the execution platform, the simple-minded Straw Hat Boy couldn't help but burst into tears, unable to think at all. Calm down, Luffy. What do you mean Ace was fine before? How did you get here? Garp asked in a low voice. Sabo and I have obviously saved Ace from the execution platform. Straw Hat Luffy said with a choked voice. Hey, Sabo, are we dreaming of all this? In fact, Ace has. No. Ace must be alive, Sabo said firmly. Ah, that's right. What Sabo boy said is right. It's not you who are dreaming, but we who have been on this battlefield so far are dreaming. It's been an incredible age. Garp spoke faintly, completely confirming his guess. Adby. The other side, as Garp asks his grandchildren for proof. Marshal Sengoku fixed his sullen gaze on the sluggish Blackbeard gang. Blackbeard. Shuru, you bastards. What happened to Impel Down? What happened to Magellan? How did you get here again? Marshal Sengoku yelled angrily. Hey, doesn't the fact that we're here answer your question? Marshal Sengoku. Shuru of the Rain pretended to be calm. If you want to know the specific situation, you should confirm after you go out later. Anyway, now I want to join forces with these guys. Get out? What does that mean? Marshal Sengoku's face darkened suddenly. Ha, thief, haven't you reacted yet? Marshal Sengoku, the so-called Marine, the resourceful general, is nothing more than that. His perception is too slow. Back to his senses, Blackbeard sneered. Blackbeard, what the hell are you talking about? Just drink softly. What I mean is that all of you Marine and the Whitebeard pirates have been tricked by that man. Blackbeard teacher's eyes fell on Suyu. You don't know it yet. This world is not real right now. The real reality, you and the Whitebeard pirates haven't even started a war, everyone is in a coma. If that bastard Rayleigh didn't get in the way, I have already taken the heads of all of you. Blackbeard cursed in displeasure, and looked at Rayleigh with even more unkind eyes. Listen to Blackbeard narrate the outside. Marshal Sengoku only felt a bang in his head, as if it was about to explode. In fact, not just Garp. Early in the beginning, he was also faintly aware of the changes in the world. But, the all-out war with the Whitebeard pirates had already begun. The ever-changing battlefield situation does not allow him to have the slightest distraction. Until not so long ago, their Marine was a big win. He who won this war is naturally even more unwilling to face the fact that this may be an illusion. Even if he loses contact with the outside world, he still has a glimmer of hope in his heart. But now, the truth he learned from Blackbeard's mouth completely shattered his luck and illusions. Marshal Sengoku knew that they were happy too soon. Suyu, what did you do? Giant's pretty face turned pale, and she quickly stepped forward with her long legs, and came to Suyu to question. As I said at the very beginning, I'm here to help reduce your Marine's losses, Suyu said lightly. Do not make jokes. Giant scolded repeatedly. She has also realized the fact that this may be a false victory. If you don't believe me, I can't help it. But there is one more thing. Let's talk about the internal news of our guild. In addition to the commission from your Marine, I also accepted the commission from Whitebeard to protect his family. This time, I also came to help Whitebeard. By the way, a group of people who cut their losses. Suyu said seriously. I have fulfilled both of your commissions, and your Marine has also successfully wiped out the Whitebeard pirate group, making you famous. On the other hand, Whitebeard will also retire and fade out of the world's sight. Everyone is happy. Aha! Giant opened his mouth wide. His head was in a mess. Forget it. This is the end of the matter. There is no need to hide it anymore. Suyu shook his head. Yuta, enough is enough. You can rest. Suyu looked at the girl in his arms, and spoke gently. Yuta nodded slightly. The moment you close your eyes, boom, the singing world began to crumble. Naval headquarters, the islands of Saibadi, the floating sky island of the Golden Lion, and the holy land of Marie Joyce. The scene in the four directions collapsed like a dream bubble, and finally returned to nothingness. Only the people of these four places are left. With the collapse of the scene, people in all directions can also see each other. Looking at the girls in his family, Suyu raised his brows lightly. Unexpectedly they also fell into the world of singing. Fortunately, there were no major problems. Suyu's gaze immediately fell on the direction of the Holy Land Marie Joyce. The five elders glared, and the celestial dragons yelled, "Anyway, I'm leaving. Before that, leave a little greeting." Suyu grinned, open mouth. Dark red flames and pitch black thunder intertwined and roared out, piercing Xiuan. Flood and devour the five elders and hundreds of celestial dragons. Chapter 215. The five elders are out. Awakening and Chaos. Subscribe. Roar. The high-pitched roar of the dragon exploded. The pitch-black thunder and the dark red flame intertwined and merged, turn into a world-killing light that can penetrate the world. Where the light passes, everything dissolves. Under the roar of Lion Dragon King, hundreds of celestial dragons on the sacred Marie Joy's plate melt like ice. Before he even had time to say a word, he was completely killed. Even the five elders standing at the apex of the celestial dragons are no good. Where to go? After one blow, the entire singing world is reduced to chaos. All souls, back to reality. Golden Lion's floating sky island plaza. Golden Lion Shiki let out a loud cry, waking up from his deep sleep, his forehead covered in cold sweat. At the same time, the fairy tale girls in the square also woke up one after another. What the hell happened to us? Nami frowned. I don't know. How did we fall asleep? Vivi shook her head in confusion. Sure enough, everything we have seen and experienced before is an illusion. Robin nodded knowingly. Were we dreaming? Juvia's eyes widened. It can also be said that it is only withdrawn and sold now. Erza nodded slightly. Everything is under the master's control. Mirajan spoke. So, Yamato's dull eyes suddenly lit up. Ace. Is Ace still alive now? Stupid Yamato. Isn't this an obvious thing? Look at the live screen. Runty folded her arms and motioned for everyone to look at the live broadcast screen. Naval headquarters still maintains its original appearance. Everything is as if it never happened. Great. Lebby breathed a sigh of relief. Kai tilde. Cemetery. A few snowflakes flashed across the screen, and then went back to darkness. The live broadcast of the battlefield was cut off. Let's go to meet the president. Arushia Road. Saibadi Islands. Number 30 Red Tree. Live Square. The screams of the reporters and the Melanitas came one after another. What happened to us? Earlier. What the hell happened earlier? It's unbelievable. Is everything we've seen a dream? Is the all-out war between the Whitebeard pirates and Marine in Naval Headquarters fake? What the hell is Naval Headquarters like now? What about the war? Has the Whitebeard pirates been defeated? And what's going on? What about the live broadcast? Why was the live broadcast of the battlefield cut off? The previous war was so realistic, how could it be fake? I can get in touch, and I can already get in touch with the outside world. But how are we going to report the situation of this war? Saibadi's live broadcast square was in chaos. Shocked and frightened shouts continued one after another. At the same time, there were countless phone bugs ringing. That was the contact signal for the headquarters of the major news agencies. The world-renowned Naval Headquarters Summit War. The major news agencies are trying their best to release big news as soon as possible. But, however, there was no news from the scene of the war, so it was inevitable that there would be some confusion. It's just that up to now, the reporters on the square are all confused and don't know how to tell. He should be back. Trafalgar Law, the supernova death surgeon in a corner of the square, breathed a sigh of relief. Looks like we're just going through a spiritual journey and there's nothing too harmful. Sky Island Strange Monkero Ush said. I don't want to have the same experience again. After all, our body was defenseless before. If someone sneaks up. Mafia Godfather Capone Big looked ugly. Previous state of sleep. Even a kid with a knife. They can easily take their heads. It's lucky to have survived. Everything that happened before is indeed Minnan from Fairy Tale. Ask for flowers. Magician Hawkins said. Marine in the Whitebeard pirates, plus Fairy Tale. Today's war has just begun. Corrupted Marine Rear Admiral Drake looked gloomy, with dense black lines in front of his eyes. Kid, I probably can't see it here. What should we do? Killer Kira looked at Kid. Let's go to Naval Headquarters. I want to see, what other shocking things can they Fairy Tale do? Kid spoke faintly. Holy Land, Marie Joyce. The five most powerful people in the world woke up from their deep sleep. All the old faces were pale and throbbing. Five elders. Master Five Elders. You are finally awake. The top government officials, headed by Commander-in-Chief Kong, immediately stepped forward. Five elders, what happened to you earlier? Kong asked quickly. Don't ask anything. Five elders, Satan said coldly. Damn Fairy Tale. Damn Suyu. White hair and white beard. Five elders' face was extremely gloomy. Only that man. Absolutely can't let go. Bald Scar. Five elders. Murderous. Sky, now send me the manpower. Go to Naval Headquarters. I want to lead the team myself. The swordsman. Five elders. who is wearing a white training suit and holds the first-generation ghost, is full of killing intent. I'll go too. And Seraphim, take them with you. Blondes and bearded 5 elders should drink. Yes. Commander-in-Chief Kong Shinxing took the order. Although I don't know what happened before, but he knew that the following would be a shocking event. This moment, compared to the other 3, Naval Headquarters Marineford. The origin of the war is also the origin of the chaos. The 100,000 elites of Naval Headquarters and the 50,000 army of Whitebeard pirates woke up from their stupor one after another. The battlefield that had been silent for a long time then erupted into a huge noise like the sky is collapsing. Chapter 216 Marine is indignant and restless. The white group is excited. Subscribe. Naval Headquarters, atop the battlefield. As Utah fell asleep, the 150,000 souls of the singing world returned to reality. There were rustling sounds on the battlefield that had been silent for a long time. Whether it's the Marine or the Whitebeard pirates, the faces of people all over the battlefield are full of confusion. How is this going? In the end, what happened? Aren't I already dead? Why am I still alive? Is this really Naval Headquarters? The headquarters is already at war with the Whitebeard pirates. Why is Naval Headquarters still intact? And what about the Whitebeard pirates in the bay? Although I don't want to admit it, we should have lost to Marine. Is everything that happened on June 67 just a dream? Marine and pirate looked at each other, unable to understand the current situation. Great. Ace is alive again. Sabo, Ace is alive again. In a corner of the square, the Straw Hat Luffy yelled in surprise, breaking the silence of the battlefield. Sure enough, I've roughly figured it out. Sabo nodded excitedly. Luffy and Sabo, why are you? Ace faintly opened his eyes. His whole body was weaker than ever before. The world of singing is a special world. Even if he dies there, the real world will not really die. Of course, after suffering soul trauma over there, after returning to the real world, they will not be rich and unscathed. Didn't I already? Why? Ace murmured in confusion. Don't say anything now, Ace. Leave the rest to us. Sabo nodded seriously. The other side. What kind of outrageous joke is this? Marine Commodore Smoker knelt on one knee, his face suddenly pale. Compared with the retaliation of his soul, what made him even more unacceptable was the cruel reality in front of him. Everything is just a dream. Our efforts so far have been in vain, and we will all be ministers. Marine Beautiful Colonel Hina smiled miserably. How can there be such a thing? We have already won the Whitebeard pirates, but it turned out to be a false victory. The S-shaking girl Peacock Crisp fluctuated wildly, her face pale in bursts. But isn't it nice that at least everyone is alive and no one is dying? The soft girl Skylark said happily. Not good at all. Peacock and other girls refuted in unison. What a terrifying man to play with the 100,000 elites of Naval Headquarters and the Whitebeard pirates. Admiral Kizaru pouted as usual. It's different than ever. At this moment, there was real fear on his face. Ah la la, it's really a waste of time to fetch water from the bamboo basket. It's a waste of work. Admiral Okaji shook his head. Damn. Admiral Akainu knelt down on one knee. His face was not as ugly as eating 100 dead towers. Simply unacceptable. We've all won. Why is there such a thing? Damn fairy tale. What the hell did that man do? That man finally revealed his true nature. A pirate is still a pirate after all. How can he become a hero? As expected, only our Marine is justice. From now on, Fairy Tail will be our enemy too. If we meet again in the sea in the future, I will definitely not let them go. The top executives, headed by Marine Elite Vice Admiral such as Doberman, Huosha Shan, and Flying Squirrel, were about to blow their lungs out. This is also a matter of course. After all, they had worked so hard before and exhausted all means to finally take down the Whitebeard pirates. I thought I could relax and celebrate, but the result, you told me that everything that happened before was a dream. They just won the Whitebeard pirates in a dream. The real Whitebeard gang is still intact. It's all a waste of time. How can this be accepted by the people on the Marine side? It's different from Marine's anger and depression. This moment, after realizing that I'm not dead yet, and have a second chance, everyone in the Whitebeard pirates and the 43 pirates under their command could not help but burst into loud excitement. Ha 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 ha. I don't know what's going on, but it's really great. Dad is still alive. Ace is still alive. We are all still alive. Is this a dream or is this hell? It doesn't matter if it's hell, because the bastards in Marine are with us. Bastard Marine actually tricked Squad into assassinating Dad, and even used that despicable surrounding wall. If we can do it again, the result will not be the same as before. Wake up. God has given us a chance to start again, and we will never waste it. This time, we will rescue Ace. The still awake powerhouses of the Whitebeard pirates shouted and shouted, their fields high. This moment, whale bow. Very good. That's great. Further is alive. The captain of the first team Phoenix Marco. The captain of the third team Diamond Jaws. The captain of the fifth team Foil Beaster. All the captains of the Whitebeard pirates gathered around Whitebeard in an emergency, with tears in their eyes for them. The previous war was a sham. 4.0 They did witness the death of their father Whitebeard for them. This is an unacceptable thing. Now, Everything reversed. Watch the real daddy Whitebeard. No one can suppress the inner emotions. But, what's going on with all this? I've obviously been caught by that Okiji. The captain of the 3rd Division, Diamond Jaws, clutched his arm. The chill that had been frozen in by Admiral Okiji seemed to remain. Is all this a miracle of God? Yazang, the captain of the 16th Division, murmured. No. No, it's not God's miracle. It's Fairy Tail's miracle. Team Captain Phoenix Marco was excited. Chapter 217 Using for Emperor's Whitebeard as a pawn? Exclamation mark. Subscribe. Winners cry, losers laugh. This is the current state of naval headquarters. Marine who won the summit war is crying. The annihilated Whitebeard pirates are laughing. Contradictory pictures are being staged. Everything was planned by Suyu. President Suyu. Mr. Suyu, thank you so much. Without you, we might be wiped out now. It's all thanks to President Suyu's help that we have this second chance to challenge. We will never waste this second chance of rebirth. Marco of the 1st team, Josie of the 3rd team, and Beastu of the 5th team, the captains of the Whitebeard pirates, moved together and came to Suyu and bowed deeply to express their gratitude. Whitebeard pirates, don't get me wrong, I'm not here to help you. And you Whitebeard pirates are just pawns for me to achieve my goal. Suyu open mouth 03 lightly. Marines Commission? Whitebeard's Commission? These are just superficial rhetoric. Suyu really came to this battlefield for 3 purposes. First of all, this is the biggest time war in the pirate world. As a qualified time traveler, of course, you can't just sit idly by and watch it anyway. Secondly, Suyu came to trouble Marine. In the past 6 months, Marine, the Hawk faction headed by Admiral Akainu, had a lot of friction with Fairy Tail. Seeing that Marshal Sengoku and Chief Staff Officer Zhiwei gave face in the past, I didn't plan to care too much about it. But, it's not good to push too hard. Marine needs to maintain the majesty of Marine, which is beyond reproach. If you just want to step on Fairy Tail to maintain the majesty of Marine, you will have to pay the price. In this war, all 100,000 Marine elites will be wiped out. Suyu will not do such insane things. But it's just right to give a mental blow like this. First let Marine win the war in the singing world as scheduled. Then they return to reality, making them realize that it was just a dream. This kind of mental torture is in a sense more teaching than the destruction of Marine space. As for the final 3rd purpose, even chess pieces are fine. Marco the Phoenix nodded. If you change to normal time, hearing someone treat their mighty Whitebeard pirates as pawns for the dignity of Whitebeard, Marco and other captains will never let it go. However, now for Suyu calling them chess pieces. The team captains headed by Marco didn't care at all. It's better to say that I am secretly glad that I can become Suyu's pawn. After all, if not the case, their Whitebeard pirates have already been wiped out by now. Where can I get the chance to be reborn and fight again like now? Compared with the lives of family members, being treated as pawns is insignificant at all. Not only is it okay, but I even want to come a few more times. Whitebeard pirates, don't be too happy too early. Although you survived, the damage you suffered in the singing world will reflect the reality to a certain extent. Now there are not many of you who can still fight. Suyu reminded. I heard this. The smiles on the faces of Marco and the others finally subsided a little. Look around. As Suyu said, not all of them in the Whitebeard pirates are awake. There are at least half of the people lying on their stomachs. Some completely lost consciousness. Although some are still awake, their breathing is weak. All of this is because he was killed in the singing world and suffered severe mental trauma. Only those with strong spirit and strength can persist in fighting again. Now the Whitebeard pirates have an army of 50,000, and about 1/3 of them can actually participate in the battle. Certainly, at this point, the same is true for the Marine side. After singing World War I, Marine has a total combat power of 100,000. And only half of them will fight again. Compared with the Whitebeard pirates, they still have an absolute advantage in numbers. More importantly, Marine's top players can still fight again. The battle continues, and the final winner will still be Marine. Of course, the premise is that the two sides are still fighting to the death, and there is no other external force involved. But now the situation on the battlefield has changed. Except for Suyu, the biggest variable, there is another huge variable on the field. Thieves, ha 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 ha. Why are you so lost, Marine? It's just back to the original point. What's so frustrating? When Marine's morale fell to the bottom, some people laughed and encouraged. You have already defeated the Whitebeard pirates once in that world, right? The Whitebeard pirates are already defeated by you. If you can win the first time, you can win the second time. And look, the current Whitebeard the bandit group is already at the end of its strength. As long as there is a little pressure, it will collapse again in no time. Blackbeard delivered an impassioned 887 speech to all Marines. That's right. That's right. If you can win once, you can win the second time. The Whitebeard pirates are nothing more than defeated opponents, so there is nothing to be afraid of. The Whitebeard pirates are nothing to fear. The Marine elites who are in the trough are all encouraged. Only, quickly, they reacted again. Damn Blackbeard, where is it your turn to say such things here? Blackbeard don't even try to escape. Vice Admiral Flying Squirrel, Doberman, Kyosha-shan and others stopped drinking in anger. Thief, ha 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 ha, don't say such unkind words. I am also 7 warlords of the sea, and I was summoned by you to come here to fight against the Whitebeard pirates together." Blackbeard teach laughed and approached. "The moment you invaded Impel Down and did such an outrageous thing, your Shikibukai title was automatically taken away, Blackbeard." Marshal Sengoku snapped his drink. "Hey, Marshal Sengoku, stop talking like that. Look over there. If you don't do something, Captain Ace will be rescued by his brothers." Blackbeard's serious reminder. Chapter 218 Top. Restart! Subscribe. Take advantage of the summit war to break through Impel Down and recruit powerful partners. Then return to the naval headquarters battlefield and pick up the 4 Emperor's Whitebeard who is dying under the Marines' offensive. Loot Whitebeard's shock fruit with the most vicious Logia dark fruit. This is Blackbeard's plan to become the Emperor, to become the only person with dual fruit abilities throughout the ages. However, plans can't keep up with changes. Suyu's arrival completely disrupted his plan. Originally, between Marine and Whitebeard in the singing world, in the real world, he can freely hunt and kill strong men from all walks of life. However, Pluton Rayleigh was killed halfway, and he became their obstacle together with the Revolutionary Army. Then they were sent into the singing world together by Utah, completely losing the opportunity. Arrived now, everyone returns to reality together. They were surrounded by Marines in a square inches the bay, and they were in a passive situation. In order to break the situation, but also to achieve their original purpose, Blackbeard's eyeballs rolled, and the fire started on the spot. "Our problems can be solved anytime. If Ace runs away, it will be too late." Blackbeard teach looked anxious. "Hurry up, Marshal Sengoku. If you really let Ace escape, the Whitebeard pirates will not continue to fight you to the end, and it will only hurt your Marine's face." Look at Blackbeard looking out for Marine's sake. Marshal Sengoku couldn't help feeling a shock in his heart. He certainly couldn't fail to see Blackbeard's purpose. But, preventing Ace from escaping right now is indeed their top priority. If the hostages are rescued, there is no need for Whitebeard and his gang to continue fighting to the death. Everyone, the target is Fire Fist Ace and the Straw Hat Boys. They must not be allowed to escape from the square inches the bay. On the execution platform, Marshal Sengoku waved his hand and issued the General Administration Order. Instantly, the tens of thousands of sea soldiers who were still able to moved together. They surrounded the 3 Straw Hat brothers who were about to abscond quietly. Damn it. Damn teach. Blackbeard, you bastard. If you don't speak, no one will think you are dumb." Not good. Ace and his brothers are surrounded. Seeing this, the members of the Whitebeard pirates couldn't help feeling anxious. "Marco, Joz, Vista ... You go to pick up Ace and them now." Whale bow. Whitebeard ordered immediately. Yes. The elites of the White Regiment headed by 14 captains rushed out. "Skuyad, brother Daikalban, Dama." 4 Emperor's Whitebeard called out. "Yes, Daddy." 43 pirate captains responded in unison. "Ace has been rescued. There is no need to attack into the bay. You are responsible for opening and securing the back road." At the same time as the voice fell, 4 Emperor's Whitebeard took a deep breath. Clenching his fists tightly, he knocked down towards the atmosphere on both sides. Boom. Rumble. The tsunami ice wall surrounding naval headquarters exploded under the power of the devastating Paramecia shock fruit. "Learn, Daddy." Little ones, the 43 pirates moved together. They have experienced a war. They know all about Marines' operations like the back of their hands. Naturally, it will no longer easily fall into the surrounding wall of Marine. Boom, 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 boom. At this time, earth-shaking footsteps sounded. That is the awakened ancient giant family. Ozzy came. "Ace, here I come again. This time I will definitely save you." Little Ozzy spoke firmly. "Stop it, little Ozzy. Don't move on." "Ozzy, stop now. Have you forgotten what happened to you just now?" Dad said earlier, "We want to stay here and open up the road." All the pirate captains shouted one after another. "But if I don't fall, the surrounding wall will rise completely." Little Oz said. "Idiot Ozzy, so what if it rises? You don't need to sacrifice here." 4 Emperor's Whitebeard snapped. "So what about the surrounding wall? Then let me see how you can break it." "Send the order down, and raise the surrounding wall now." On the execution platform, Yuan Shui Sengoku communicated orders to the power room through the small phone. "But Mr. Sengoku, there are still many partners on the ice in the bay that have not been evacuated yet." The person in charge of the power room said nervously. "Cool, la 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 la." The heroic laughter blasted the battlefield. Under the terrified eyes of the people on the Marine side, 4 Emperor's Whitebeard jumped from the bow of the whale. 3 or 2 leaps is to surpass the vanguard. Personally lead the team to pick up the Straw Hats and their party at the square inches the bay. Without Admiral's obstruction, the 4 Emperor's Whitebeard seemed to be in no man's land, and the battle line advanced rapidly. "Marshal Sengoku, it's not good. It can't be stopped." A sailor yelled in horror to report. "Damn Whitebeard, you have already died once, and your soul should have been severely injured. But you still have this kind of power. There is no way, no matter how many casualties are caused. Immediately raise the surrounding wall." Marshal Sengoku gritted his teeth and hesitated no more. Heard the words. The person in charge of the power room no longer hesitated. Immediately full power. The ice surface of the entire bay shook violently. This is a sign that the surrounding wall is about to rise. That bastard Sengoku, is he going to risk the lives of his sailors? For Emperor's Whitebeard's pale gold eyes narrowed. Originally, they also wanted to take the battle of biting the sailors on the ice of the bay. Taking the sailors as hostages forced the marine side to fail to raise the surrounding wall. From there, we move forward all the way, and finally meet the 3 Straw Hat Brothers in the square inches the bay. But right now this method is no longer possible. Boom boom boom. Accompanied by bursts of violent roar, the surrounding wall is fully raised, completely surrounded thousands of marine elites and Whitebeard pirates. Bastard Whitebeard, I can kill you a second time if I can kill you once. Go to hell, meteor volcano. Admiral Akainu stood on the top of the surrounding wall and punched the magma towards the sky. Countless volcanic bombs fell like meteors, indiscriminately hitting the Gulf Plaza. Hey, Sengoku, are you serious? You, Marine, are still in that promise. Rayleigh raised an eyebrow as he battled Admiral Kizaru. Shut up, Rayleigh. It's not your turn to tell me what to do here. Marshal Sengoku glared. Besides, if it wasn't for you, why should we be in such a hurry? It's so indifferent, Sengoku. If it wasn't for me, you would have been killed by Blackbeard long ago when you couldn't move. This is a bit like revenge. Pluton Rayleigh rode. I didn't beg you to save me, Marshal Sengoku said coldly. However, after sending you to Impel Down, I will ask Magellan to give you some special treatment, so that you can have food every day. Thank you so much, but I don't plan to go to Impel Down to enjoy my old age. Also, to remind you, it's not just the Whitebeard pirates who are locked in the wall by you now. Rayleigh reminded. Nani? Marshal Sengoku was suddenly shocked. Chapter 219 Make Akainu feel worse than eating shit! Subscribe. Naval Headquarters. The battle on the top. Restart. The first time is raw. The second time is cooked. As war experience singing the world. In the second week of Summit War, Marine and Whitebeard pirates did not conduct boring trials. 4. Emperor's Whitebeard, the leader of the pirates, attacked aggressively from the very beginning. Same. On the Marine side, there was no sloppiness in the slightest. To come up is to carry out the encirclement wall operation. Although this operation has been known by the Whitebeard group, it is still very useful. And this time because there was no obstruction from Little Oz, the surrounding wall was completely raised. The main force of the Whitebeard pirates and the Straw Hat Brothers were completely separated by the surrounding wall. Admiral Akainu and the Pacifist Corps stand on top of the wall. Hot magma bombs and terrifying laser light fell together. At the same time, it was accompanied by fierce artillery attacks. Even the main force of the Royal Army led by Whitebeard was completely suppressed. The other side. The situation of the Straw Hat Brothers and his party is even more difficult. They faced tens of thousands of marine elites led by Admiral Kizaru and Admiral Okiji. By contrast, the strength of the Straw Hats is only 6 people. Pluton Rayleigh, Sabo, the commander of the 737 Revolutionary Army, and Luffy the Straw Hat Kid. Even if everyone has good strength, even with the help of a legendary pirate like Rayleigh, facing the total marine force led by Admiral, they are already on the verge of being defeated. This is Marshal Sengoku's new campaign, completely separating the Whitebeard pirates from the Straw Hats, splitting them up and defeating them. The effect is outstanding. Going on like this, it won't be long before these two battlefields will be victorious. Certainly, this is based on the premise that there are no other external forces. It's a pleasure to be able to kill the 4 emperors twice in one day. Go to hell, day. Surrounding the top of the wall, Admiral Akainu's face curved with pride. Countless volcanic bombs rushed out from its raised right hand. Launch an indiscriminate and large-scale ape attack towards the surrounding wall. Not only the Whitebeard pirates, but also the sailors who remained in the surrounding wall were also affected. In addition, there are 3 Suyu who are also in the surrounding wall. President, the other party did it on purpose. Brandish shrunk the incoming volcanic bombs down to the size of dust with a wave of his hand, and looked at Admiral Akainu with a sullen expression on his pretty face. She could clearly feel the malice from Admiral Akainu. The fall of these volcanic bombs was definitely not accidental. The other party deliberately did it, since they are the first to do it. There is no way. Let's eliminate these annoying walls. Suyu spoke lightly. Yes, Brandish nodded. Lifting his slender hand, he aimed at the surrounding walls in all directions. Form magic. Useless. Next second, amazing events happened on the battlefield. Under the shocked eyes of Marine and all the pirates, the huge memory alloy barrier surrounding the entire base shrinks at a speed visible to the naked eye. The time before and after is just one breath. The indestructible wall that Marine was proud of disappeared. Everyone on the battlefield couldn't help being stunned by this sudden change. Next second, the surrounding walls are gone. Great. The surrounding wall is gone. Although I don't know what's going on, but now is the time to fight back. Wake up, Marine. The real battle is just beginning. The frustrated Whitebeard pirates all shouted excitedly. Relatively, the elites on Marine's side were dumbfounded at this moment. In the end, what happened? Why is there such a thing? Surrounding wall. The surrounding wall is gone. No. It's not gone. It's shrunk. The surrounding wall has been shrunk by some force. It's coming. Whitebeard pirates. Everyone in the navy yelled in horror. Is it because of me? Admiral Akainu is completely stupid. From the beginning, he doesn't like the so-called fairy tale. I have troubled fairy tale over and over again. Coupled with the previous incident of singing the world, Akainu felt even more resentful. Also, regarding the unilateral beating by Suyu in the singing world before, Admiral Akainu also felt dissatisfied in his heart, thinking that it was because he was weakened in the singing world. If it were in the real world, the results would inevitably be different. So, in previous attacks, he challenged Suyu. The original intention was to fight Suyu again. Nay, never thought about it. Suyu didn't play cards according to common sense at all. Not against him. Instead, fight directly against them. It hurt him more than hitting him directly. It's even worse than eating shit. Kula-la-la-la, I owe another incredible favor. For Emperor's Whitebeard. Edward Newgate laughed out loud. Thanks, President Suyu. Great kindness and great virtue. Unforgettable forever. We will absolutely not waste this precious opportunity. The white group headed by Marco, Joz, Vistu and other captains were all high-spirited and rushed towards the square inches the bay with an indomitable momentum. Under the charge of the main force of the Whitebeard pirates, Marine's perfect line of defense in the bay square was torn open. Ace, Captain Ace, brothers of Ace, we are coming. The captains headed by Marco took the lead in rushing forward to protect the scarred Sabo and others. Thank you. It was really helpful. Sabo quietly breathed a sigh of relief. No, it should be us who say thank you. Let's break through together. Marco and the others all grinned. Oh, the Straw Hat Kid is in high spirits. Hey, Marshal Sengoku, Marine, what are you doing? Why did the Whitebeard pirates invade so easily? If this continues, Ace will really be rescued. You Marine, don't you want it? Blackbeard teach hid in the corner of the square, shouting dissatisfiedly. Shut up, Blackbeard. You don't have a place here. On the execution platform, Yuan's Wai Sengoku shouted angrily. It's all because of that guy. Giant's beautiful eyes locked on Suyu. I've said it long ago, that guy is not a good person. Giant, you should be clear by now. Admiral's candidate, Kaji, said bitterly. He is still brooding over the fact that Suyu easily snatched the first kiss of the goddess he had licked for many years. Mr. Sengoku, let me go talk to him, Giant said seriously. Chapter 224 Emperor's Suyu vs. Garp subscription. Naval Headquarters. The battle on the top of the second week begins. As the surrounding wall was shrunk by Brandish, Marine's battle is completely broken. The royal group leader led by Whitebeard entered the square and cheers the bay. In the end, they successfully merged with Rayleigh and the Straw Hats. The two sides are united, and the rest is just to break through. It's off. Dad, Ace's handcuffs are off. The captain of the 10th squad, Uriel, spoke excitedly. The lock-picking expert who accompanied them managed to open the sea-stone handcuffs that bound Ace. Straw Hat Luffy rushed forward and hugged his brother, with snot and tears. Great, Ace. Luffy's really worried these days. Sabo patted Ace on the shoulder. Luffy, Sabo, you. Ace's eyes were red, trying not to let the tears fall. Kula-la-la-la, Ace. You should still be able to move. For Emperor's Whitebeard laughed loudly. It's recovered. Ace is strong, and armament haki is wrapped around his fists. Kula-la-la-la, little ones, prepare to retreat. For Emperor's Whitebeard laughed and ordered. Oh, the Whitebeard pirates are united and their morale is high. Gudong tilde, gudong gudong tilde. The scorching black and red magma rushed in like the waves of the sea. How could it be possible to let you escape like this? Admiral Akainu rides hot lava. For Suyu, who directly led to the bankruptcy of the siege wall operation, Akainu hated his teeth itchingly. But, he also knows, the immediate priority is to keep the Whitebeard pirates. With the entry of Admiral Akainu, the battle between Marine and the Whitebeard pirates intensifies. The other side. Gulf Ice. Fairy Tale Magic Powerboat. Suyu was very happy while eating melons. Not long, however. Clatter. The sound of footsteps stomping on the atmosphere sounded. A slender figure descended from the sky and landed in front of Subao. Momousagi Vice Admiral, you Marines are fighting hard. Is it really okay for you to be so leisurely? Suyu asked with a smile. The situation will become like this, and it's not all because of you. Giant glared at Suyu. If it wasn't for you, we would have already won. If you hadn't eliminated the encircling wall, how could Whitebeard? Are you really here to reduce the casualties of our Marine? I see, they are clearly targeting our Marine everywhere. Do you want to find fault? Brandish raised his eyelids slightly, and powerful magic burst out. Fine. Suyu waved his hand, signaling that Brandish should take it easy. If you want to break it off, I will also break it off with you. When you are singing the world, you have already won once. This is also the ending for the reporters in Saibadi saw. As I said before, Marine will win, and Whitebeard will gradually disappear from the sea. Within 2 years, Whitebeard will die, but you still insist on starting a second war. I have completed my commission and become now. This is your choice, Suyu said calmly. In that case, if you're absolutely neutral now, why are you helping Whitebeard? Why are you destroying our encirclement wall? Jian asked. I have to ask your Red Dog Admiral, in the past 6 months, for your sake, I have tolerated you Marine enough, but you, Marine, are overreaching again and again. I will not tolerate it anymore. From now on, I will repay anyone and everything against our fairy tale. Suyu spoke quietly. The voice just fell. Bang bang bang. The shelling was loud. Dozens of pitch-black cannons were ejected from the chambers, shooting towards the magical power. Suyu's face darkened. Gravity magic is activated. All the shells were solidified in midair. In the next second, they all reversed and turned back. Ruthlessly destroy the fort that fired the shells. Who the hell attacked without authorization? Jian was shocked suddenly turned around. A sullen look appeared on her pretty face. Cage, what are you doing? Why do you do it without Mr. Sengoku's order? Jian scolded angrily. Jian, don't be naive anymore. Fairy tale will never be our ally. One day conflicts will break out. This war is the signal from the other party to declare war. 0. Ask for flowers. The tea dolphin resolutely stopped drinking. But are you doing this to make Marine an enemy of Whitebeard and Fairy Tail at the same time? Giant drank a lot. There is only one person in Fairy Tail right now. Now is the best time. Soon, reinforcements from the world government will arrive. By then, no one will be able to leave. The tea dolphin said. In addition, Giant, these things are not my personal wishes. I have obtained permission from above. How so? Giant's pretty face was dull. That's it. Get out of there quickly, Giant. The tea dolphins drink more and more. 0. Aren't you going to leave yet? Suyu smiled. No. No, we don't mean to be your enemy. Giant still wants to make one last effort. However, Giant girl, enough is enough. Let's go back. An old voice came from the ice not far away. Mr. Garp. Do you mean? Seeing Garp approaching calmly, Giant's beautiful eyes couldn't help but widen further. She knows. Previously, the tea porpoise was not talking nonsense. This time Marine is really ready to rip off Fairy Tail. Is it a Marine hero right from the start? Suyu squinted and smiled. What? Are you scared? Garp asked. No, no, how come? What I am worried about is that a Marine hero is not enough to make me happy. Isn't the marshal over the planning to play? Suyu asked back. Good boy. No matter how arrogant you are, there must be a limit. Garp laughed angrily. This time is different from the previous one. I won't show any mercy. You'd better be like this, otherwise, you will be blown up by me. Suyu grinned. Eyes open and close. Bright electric light blooms from its body. The dark red flame wings with a wingspan of tens of meters stretched out from behind it. These are the wings of the Flame Dragon King. Yanlong wing mode. Open. 10,000. Chapter 221 Fistbone Conflict vs Flame Dragon King's Bengquan subscription. Raging. It was the extremely hot prison flames of the Yanlong King that burned the sky. Everything is ashes. Naval headquarters, atop the battlefield. The wings of the Yanlong King stretched tens of meters from behind Suyu. The scorching dark red flames further rose against the wind, as if to cover the entire sky. The dark sky seemed to be on fire at this moment. The temperature in the air is rising at a speed visible to the naked eye. Kai. The Flame Dragon King mode has only just started. The bay ice frozen by Admiral Okiji is melting at a speed visible to the naked eye. The endless scorching hot steam rose, causing the people in it to run away screaming. Come on, Garp. This is a continuation of the last unfinished battle. Suyu grinned. 880, and his aggressive gaze firmly locked on Garp. The legendary Marine legend Vice Admiral hero. Casa. Card Cannon. A legend of the last era. Where is the limit of King Marine, who rivals Roger of One Piece? The previous duel was just a taste of it. But this time, the two sides are bound to distinguish between high and low. PFFD ha. Then come on, arrogant brat. I want to see how much stronger you have become in the past 6 months. Marine legend Vice Admiral here. Garp grinned, facing Suyu's war agreement. The hero will not back down in the slightest. Fierce battles took place between lightning and flint. Boom. Earthquake. There was a near-piercing scream. That's the Marine legendary hero shot. The fist is like a shooting star, bright in the sky. Under the dark sky, it seems that there are dazzling meteors passing by. Thick conqueror's lightning raged across the sky. Fist bones. Clash. Marine legend Vice Admiral here. Garp's roar shook the sky. Come on, Garp. Suyu didn't dodge or avoid. Fist for fist. Raging tilde. The extremely hot hell flames that burned the atmosphere rotated like a tornado, wrapping around Subao's fist. Yan, Long, Wang, Da, Beng, fist, boom. Heroes and Dragon Kings. The world's top powerhouses clash in space. Rumble. A gap opened in the dark sky. Immediately afterwards, the gap in the sky widened rapidly. In the end, it turned into a huge crack that seemed to reach the end of the world. Kaka. Ka. There was an overwhelmed clicking sound. Under the gaze of people shocked, the sky shattered like a mirror, and dense cracks like spider webs appeared. The ice surface of the bay was completely disintegrated under the bombardment of flames and domineering lightning. The cracks are still spreading. The entire naval headquarters is shaking here. The seas in all directions trembled and surged, all because of a conflict between two people. This ... Is this something that humans can do? Those two ... Are they really human? Obviously it was just the collision of punches. But it brought about a scene like the end of the world. Those two people don't have Dad's shock fruit ability. But a collision of forces at this level. This is four emperors. This is heroes. This is the duel of the world's top powerhouses. All over the battlefield, Marines and pirates screamed in horror one after another. In the first episode of the Singing World Summit War, those on the battlefield have seen the four emperors Whitebeard go berserk, witnessed the peak duel between four emperors Whitebeard and Admiral Akainu and others. The power of the strongest paramecia shock fruit is indeed a terrible sight, like the end of the natural disaster. The peak duel between Whitebeard and the admirals was also terrifying. But, right now, the first collision between Tsuyu and Garp has surpassed all previous ones. Before the duel between four emperors Tsuyu and the hero Garp this time, even the confrontation between Whitebeard and the admirals could not help but be eclipsed. Unbelievable. That was Vice Admiral Garp's fist clash. Vice Admiral Garp's all-out conqueror's entanglement was blocked. It's the first time I've seen Vice Admiral Garp's fist bone blocked by someone else since the One Piece Roger 22 years ago. This is the first time. Doberman, Hwasha-shan, Flying Squirrel and other naval headquarters elite vice admirals couldn't help but change their colors in horror. It's not the first time. The last time was also that man. Last time, the young shaking girl Peacock pursed her lips. Mr. Garp is certainly very powerful, but his opponent is not an ordinary person, but the man who defeated the four emperors Kaido of the Beasts in a one-on-one duel. Colonel Marine Hina, a beautiful girl with long pink hair, murmured in shock. TSK, what a monster. That guy Tsuyu is stronger than when he was in Saibadi. Pluton really couldn't help but wonder. The Celestial Dragons event in Saibadi more than a year ago. He once watched the duel between Tsuyu and the world government admiral level powerhouse up close. I have seen Tsuyu show the power of flames, but the flames at that time are completely incomparable with the present. Marines, what are you surprised about? Isn't it a matter of course that your heroes will be blocked? Don't forget, Garp's opponent is the four emperors. President Tsuyu's punch is comparable to Dad's shock punch with full power. Marco, Joz, Beastu and other white team leaders shouted excitedly one after another. This is four emperors Tsuyu. This is the leader of Fairy Tail. Simply unfathomable. The Revolutionary Army commanders who witnessed Tsuyu's battle up close for the first time all murmured unconsciously in shock. Hey, what are you kidding about? 4.7, this level of strength is simply a foul. In a corner of the square, Blackbeard Teach couldn't help shouting. His goal, who made this series of plans, is also the throne of the four emperors. But intuition told him, even if his plan really succeeds, even if he really got the shock fruit ability, it is also completely incomparable with the power of this super specification. This is the so-called new four emperors, a super monster that showed up while we were in prison. Fairy Tail, President, no matter what, this is too scary. Prisoners such as the villainous King Avalo Pizarro, the Big Barrel Basque Cho 8, and Katarina Deppen were stunned and frightened at this moment. The ultimate battle that shakes the top battlefield is still going on. Chapter 222 Yanlong King's extremely hot purgatory. Garp is burned. Subscribe. Naval headquarters, atop the battlefield. Here Garp and four emperors Tsuyu. The clash of fist bones and the collapse of Yanlong King's fist. The ultimate showdown between the strongest has just begun. Raging. Boom boom boom. Tsuyu and Garp's ultimate fist confrontation reached the end. Circles of dazzling rings of flame centered on Tsuyu and Garp, spread in all directions, and reached the end of the sky, accompanied by the roaring sound like the sky is collapsing. The two most powerful men retreated at the same time. Tsuyu's feet stepped on the atmosphere. Every step of the fall is to make the atmosphere collapse. Even the space can't help shaking a little. The other side. Garp flipped out of shape. Only a loud bang was heard. Garp fell heavily on the ground of the square. Kaka. Huge cracks are formed and spread. Boom. A corner of the headquarters building, one of the symbols of Marine, collapsed. TSK, you really deserve to be a Marine hero. My arms are a little numb. Tsuyu grinned, listening to Tsuyu's praise. Neither the sailors nor Garp himself. 07 was all over his face without the slightest complacency. Because, any way I look at it, in the previous confrontation, Tsuyu had the upper hand. Listening to him say that, I always feel a sense of being ridiculed. It's not over yet. Come again. Garp snorted. His foot slammed on the ground. The figure suddenly rose into the sky and rushed towards Tsuyu again. Then come on. Tsuyu raised his hand and waved. Raging, the dark red Yanlong King Leian fell like a waterfall, completely surround the battlefield between him and Garp. This is the field of the Yanlong King. The extremely hot purgatory of the Yanlong King. Ordinary people can feel the continuous loss and evaporation of water in their bodies just by getting close to it. If one enters it, the body will inevitably turn into a mummy within a few breaths, and will eventually be wiped out. This is the arena that only the top powerhouses can enter. Boom, boom boom boom. The dull sound like the beating of war drums exploded one after another. That was Tsuyu and Garp colliding and fighting fiercely in the field. As expected of Chairman Tsuyu, Jinbei couldn't help being amazed. Even though it was far away, The moisture in his body was still being lost, and even the shark's skin had been dried. If it's closer, I'm afraid it won't be a dry shark directly. Fairy tale ... What kind of monster is that bastard? The original Shikibukai crocodile gritted his teeth, even though he was once defeated by Suyu. But Crocodile always thought he was much weaker than Suyu. However, after witnessing this scene with my own eyes, there is only a strong sense of powerlessness in his heart now. There is no possibility of smoothing or crossing such a huge gap like a natural chasm. It's really a terrible flame. Even the Emperor Yan before Ace probably. Marco, Joz, Beast and others were also amazed. Hey, hello, how can I compare with President Suyu? Ace can't laugh or cry. Master Garp, are you alright? Sabo frowned worriedly. On this battlefield, they are hostile camps. But anyway, that's their Tartar. Well, it must be fine. That's President Suyu. Sabo shook his head. Because I know Suyu well, I am not worried. By contrast, what's going on in the now? Can't see at all. How's Vice Admiral Garp going? I don't know, but that's Vice Admiral Garp. It will be fine. That's right. Vice Admiral Garp is our Marine's legendary hero. The sailors all over the battlefield shouted nervously. The situation in the flame battlefield is completely unknown. The upper-level powerhouses who can barely perceive the situation. At this moment, everyone is frowning, and the situation is not optimistic. Oh. What kind of flame is this? It's really scary. Admiral Kizaru pouted obscenely. His old face could not hide the horror. Ah la la, this kind of flame is too extraordinary. Can my eyes hold it? Admiral Okiji frowned and muttered to himself. Although it was a question, he actually already had an answer in his heart. In the extremely hot hell of the Yanlong King, his ice couldn't form at all. Unless awakening. But even him as Admiral, it is also impossible to use the power of awakening for a long time. If it is one-on-one, the results won't be much different from the previous Anai's lobby period. He will still fail miserably. Admiral Akainu also had the same idea as Okiji. How could such a thing happen? I'm magma, a magma that can burn even flames. But Admiral Akainu's face, which has always been firm and confident, could not help but appear confused and shocked at this moment. I thought that losing to Sunning in the singing world was because the opponent was at home and he was weakened. However, after witnessing this scene with his own eyes and feeling the scorching purgatory of the Yanlong King, there was an unprecedented sense of powerlessness in his heart. Before Suyu's flame, his magma was completely suppressed. Kula-la-la-la, where are you looking, magma brat? 4. Emperor's Whitebeard laughed out loud. The supreme sharp knife entwined with Xion vibration slashed down, destroyed Admiral Akainu's 550 dog head and sent him flying heavily. To this, Marshal Sengoku on the execution platform didn't realize it. From beginning to end, his eyes were locked on the Xion duel in the flame field without blinking. Compared to Akainu, of course the old man Garp is more important. Don't die, old man. Marshal Sengoku clenched his teeth tightly and clenched his fists so tightly that even his knuckles turned white. Before Garp leaves the execution platform to join the battle, his request to Garp is not to lose. Now it has regressed considerably. As long as Garp doesn't die and survives, it doesn't matter whether he wins or loses. Time passed bit by bit. Some moment. Raging rumble. The terrifying purgatory field suddenly collided and rotated. It turned into a terrifying flame storm, spread in all directions, and finally completely exploded. Everyone on the battlefield couldn't help but close their eyes due to the terrifying high temperature, only to feel that their eyes were burning hot. Boom. It sounded like the sound of a meteorite falling. The whole naval headquarters is shaking. People all over the battlefield struggled to open their eyes. What caught their eyes was a huge pothole. In the center of the pothole stood a figure, a withered and pitch-black figure exuding a burnt smell. That's Marine legend Vice Admiral Garp. Chapter 223 Thunder Dragon King Fang Tianji. New mode for Garp. Subscribe. Raging . The flame field covering the battlefield shrinks rapidly. It turned into a terrifying flame storm, spinning crazily. In the end, it swelled and dissipated in an instant. A scorched black figure flew upside down from the flame tornado, and landed heavily on the ground of the square. It's Marine legend Vice Admiral Garp. This moment, Garp's posture was nothing short of miserable. The white suit on the upper body also turned into fly ash. Finally, the suit pants were not completely turned into ashes. The part was preserved under Haki's reinforcement. The key parts are protected, so as not to run wild. His white hair was now pitch black. It was caused by being burned by flames. Not just hair. His entire body was pitch black, exuding a scorched aura. The originally plump body withered due to the loss of water. The whole person turned into an upright mummy. Ah! Vice Admiral Garp. Mr. Garp. The sailors who witnessed this miserable appearance couldn't help screaming out of nervousness and fear. Garp, are you okay? On the execution platform, Marshal Sengoku's face was full of panic. I'm fine. Garp's body trembled slightly, and he let out a mouthful of black smoke between his mouth. Fine? What kind of thing is this? This moment, look at the Garp in the center of that hundreds of meters pothole. The elites on Marine's side felt their hearts tremble. A heart is mentioned in the throat. Vice Admiral Garp. Sergeant Kebai and Bembo rolled forward and sent 2 buckets of water to Garp. Garp took it tremblingly, pierced the bucket with one hand, and splashed a lot of water on himself. Kai. The moment it touches his body, clear water at room temperature boils and then evaporates. It can be seen how terrifying Garp's body temperature is at this moment. If it were an ordinary person, it would have been thoroughly cooked long ago. Only a strong haki like Garp can withstand the high temperature from the inside out. Gudong. Garp picked up another bucket, gulped greedily to add water, with added moisture. His originally dry, mummy-like body is also re-expanded and plump. It didn't take long for him to return to his original shape. Seeing this scene, the sailors in all directions couldn't help but let out a sigh of relief. And then couldn't help cheering. However, Marshal Sengoku, Chief of Staff Vice Admiral Zhiwei and other marine executives on the execution platform couldn't laugh at all. In the previous battles, the level of the sailors was not clear enough. But they are very clear. Be aware of the fact that Marine's legendary heroes are completely suppressed. Even now, after rehydration, Garp has recovered. However, Sengoku knew that Jinbei had suffered a lot ever since he practiced Washwang fist bones and stood at the top of the world. Garp hadn't known how many years it had been since no one had broken through his defense. Even Roger, the Pirate King, can only make him retreat. But now, his unparalleled monster physique was broken. The power of the flame caused a lot of trauma inside and outside his body. If it were an ordinary person, this would be a serious injury enough to kill dozens or even hundreds of times. But he is still alive. It can even carry and retain considerable combat power. All because he is the strongest hero in Marine. Garp, on the execution platform, Sengoku flung Justice Heaven behind him. After knowing that Garp can't stop Tsuyu alone, and may even die in battle, Marshal Sengoku will naturally not be silent anymore. Although he usually fights and bickers with Garp whenever he meets Garp. But this is not a sign of poor relations. As comrades in arms who have come together since the last era, he and Garp are true friends and brothers. They can sacrifice their lives for each other. Don't come here, Sengoku. Garp stopped drinking in a deep voice. My battle has just begun, and it's far from the end. Garp grinned. The fighting spirit in his eyes suddenly flourished. Even though he looks miserable on the outside, his aura has not weakened in the slightest. As expected of Marine's hero, Tsuyu couldn't help but praise again. Boy Tsuyu, the power of flames alone can't defeat me. Where's your thunder? I've been waiting for it. Garp challenged. Oh, Tsuyu frowned lightly. Understand what Garp means. Since the other party has said so, Tsuyu naturally only had to meet his needs. The scorching flames that even the heavens and the earth could not bear were suppressed. Instead, a black and red terrifying thunderbolt emerged. Thunder Dragon King mode. Open. Let's start. Thunder Dragon King Tsuyu grinned, raising his hand and holding it empty. The pitch-black thunder condensed. It turned into a 100-meter-long square sky painting halberd. Thunder Dragon King's Fang painting halberd. Suning raised his hand and waved lightly. The pitch-black Fang painted a halberd to explode the void. In an instant it came over Garp's head. The speed is extremely fast. Even if the shape is Fang painted halberd, thunder is still thunder. One of the fastest elements in the world. Between lightning and flint, even Garp can't avoid it. In fact, Garp didn't dodge either. Fist against halberd. The black and red conqueror's lightning keeps firing. There was a fierce conflict with Fang Tianji of Thunder Dragon King. Only, the horror of this blow is not just power. Thunder is the real horror of destruction. A pitch-black electric current pierces the atmosphere, hitting Garp amidst the horrified eyes of all parties on the battlefield. Each black current beam is enough to instantly kill a powerhouse at the Vice Admiral level. However, for the terrifying black current beam, the hero Garp is not surprised but happy. A jet of black air flowed along his body. That is the top-level armament haki that is so strong that it is almost substantive. Under Garp's control, the top armament haki turned into armor and stopped the black thunder. Immediately afterwards, the black thunder was further wrapped and entangled. Boom, rumble. The duel of this strike is over. The next confrontation started again in an instant. Garp's body has black lightning flashes. Not the Conqueror's haki, but the real thunder, though that belongs to Tsuyu's Thunder Dragon King. In the previous confrontation, Garp obviously turned Tsuyu's thunder into his own use. Activate cells with thunder to achieve the effect of strengthening oneself. It can be said to be the lightning-style chakra mode of One Piece. Chapter 224 Fist and Thunder. Anti-Thunder Dragon King mode. Subscribe. Boom. Naval Headquarters earthquake. In the huge pit, the figure of Marine hero Garp disappeared. When he reappeared, he had already sneaked up to Tsuyu. This speed is even higher than before, all because of the black current flowing through its body surface. That is the destruction black thunder belonging to Thunder Dragon King. Captured by Garp in top armed colors. Suppress the destructive properties in it, and further use it to stimulate the cells in the body to achieve the purpose of physical activation. This is thunder mode for Marine hero Garp. I see. Tsuyu frowned slightly. Instantly understood why. A look of surprise appeared on his face. In an instant, Garp's fierce fist was approaching. Tsuyu didn't have the slightest carelessness, and crossed his arms to block. Boom. The atmosphere exploded. There were circles of ripples in the void. Boom. A figure fell from the sky like a meteor. Another massive portal smashed through the naval headquarters plaza. The shockwave of terrifying power sent people flying in a radius of hundreds of meters. All over the battlefield, the cheers of the sailors rose again. Because, this time the person who fell was finally no longer Garp, 633 but Tsuyu. Great. I knew Vice Admiral Garp would do it. That's right. Vice Admiral Garp is our Marine's hero. The iron fist of a hero is unstoppable. The naval headquarters elite are all excited. What is going on? Why is that Garp so aggressive all of a sudden? The black lightning on Garp doesn't seem to be conquerors, is it? But, Chairman Tsuyu's words must be fine. Marco, Joz, Vistu and others all spoke suspiciously. It's not bad to wrap the black thunder with haki, and then use it to strengthen your body. That old guy Garp. For Emperor's Whitebeard narrowed his pale gold eyes. After seeing Garp's approach, his heart was inevitably shocked. This kind of skill can only be done by a real haki peak zone player. Even if it was him before, he might not be able to succeed. Sengoku, is that the result of Garp's special training? On the execution platform, the Vice Admiral Crane spoke. Well, in this case, maybe we can win. Sengoku nodded. A look of excitement appeared on his old face. That was a year ago. Garp approached Tsuyu. He wants to find a place for the seriously injured disciple. In the end, he was also paralyzed by Tsuyu's thunder. After coming back, Garp made up his mind. Be sure to overcome the power of the natural disaster thunder and lightning. To this end, Garp even went to Thunder Island, one of the 3 initial islands of New World, for special training. For Garp's madness, neither Sengoku nor Vice Admiral Crane looked promising at first. I persuaded him several times to forget it and stop meaningless self-abuse. However, Garp, once again demonstrated monster powers beyond common sense. After being struck by lightning for several months, his body acquired resistance to lightning. In addition, he even figured out a lightning boost method that belongs to him alone. Wrap thunder and lightning with haki, and stimulate the activation of cells in the body with the power of thunder and lightning. As a result, the speed, attack and defense are all raised to a higher level. This is the anti-Tsuyu anti-Thunder Dragon King mode specially trained by Garp in order to fight Tsuyu again. When facing Tsuyu, who is a person with lightning ability, the power of this mode will be displayed to the maximum. Only, while this trick brings enormous power, also can bring huge burden to users' health. It can be said that it is jumping repeatedly before the gate of hell. If one fails, you have to finish playing first. I see. Is that why you want me to fight with lightning? Tsuyu nodded knowingly. Battles are always like this. Don't blame me for not reminding you, Garp said. No. Of course not. Being able to use my lightning is also your ability, and it will make this battle more interesting. I wish for it. For a Garp's role in stealing his own lightning for his own use, there was no dissatisfaction on his face, only joy and excitement. This is the most hearty battle he expected. Then let's decide the outcome. Boom. Garp's feet stomped the atmosphere. Boom. What resounded through the sky was the roar of thunder. Garp is like the embodiment of black lightning, with an indomitable momentum. He swung his iron fist at Tsuyu. Fist bone. Thunder, rumble. The deafening crash of thunder echoed over naval headquarters. The sky above the battlefield. 2 black lightning bolts collided one after another. The speed is extremely fast. It's not just beyond the limits of what the human naked eye can capture. Even the perception of those who are strong in knowledge cannot accurately capture their figures. They could only vaguely capture their moving trajectories, as well as the circles of ripples in the atmosphere, continuously absorbing the destructive black thunder of the Thunder Dragon King in a nearly self-destructive way, and turned it into his own use. Today's Garp is almost like the 4th Raikage with a lightning-style chakra mode turned on in the Hokage world next door. But compared to the movie next door, Garp's power level is undoubtedly stronger. Stimulate the activation of body cells with lightning, plus its own 6-style shaving. His speed has already reached the limit that humans can reach. It was even able to catch up with Tsuyu in Thunder Dragon King mode. As the battle progressed, the dark electric arcs around him became more dense and turbulent. In addition to its own armed armor, it also put on a set of lightning armor. The armed color and the power of thunder and lightning blended together, hitting lightning fist bones across the sky, causing the void in the sky to explode one after another. For a while, even Tsuyu in Thunder Dragon King mode was suppressed by his explosive power. There are fist marks on Duolu's upper body, and there are even faint bloodstains on Kakazu's mouth. Certainly, use strength beyond the limits of a human body. Garp himself, of course, was not unscathed. Even with the resistance to lightning, a body of flesh and blood is still a body of flesh and blood. It's impossible to be completely immune to thunder like Luffy's rubber body. Absorbing lightning into the body and traveling between blood vessels, internal organs and even cells is an unimaginable burden on the human body. Garp, who maintains the lightning-style chakra mode, no longer suffers from huge backlash pain all the time. But Garp didn't seem to notice the pain in his body, and his expression didn't change. He had already forgotten about the others, and just devoted himself to this battle with all his strength. Sparasi, you really are the best opponent, Garp. Suyu laughed happily. Chapter 225 Red Yulei. Martial X heroes join forces. Subscribe. Very good, Garp. As my opponent, you are qualified. Suyu grinned excitedly. Go ahead, hold on as long as you can, and let me enjoy it for a while. Such words, for any other person, would seem a little arrogant. After all, Garp is the hero of the Marine, a true legend who has spanned the ages. But, hearing it from Suyu's mouth will not make the onlookers think arrogantly. As the world's strongest man in the new era, Suyu is qualified to say such things, and now he is proving it with his actual actions. This is my line, kid. Let the old man fall. Marine here, Garp yelled loudly. Kai kai, rumble. The pitch-black haki merges with thunder, endowed him with supreme strength and speed. Between lightning and flint, the meteor-like hero's iron fist descended from the sky, oppressing Suyu. The terrifying haki lightning rages across the world. Thunder, the bottom of the sea is falling. Rumble. A huge gap was opened out of thin air in the square. The strong oppressive force pushed Suyu's body down towards the abyss little by little. Suyu supported the hero's unparalleled fist bones with his fleshy body. Snapped. Accompanied by a crisp finger snap. Clatter. Without warning, a pitch-black sea of thunder appeared out of nowhere between the sky and the earth. A giant dragon made of black and red thunder intertwined rushed out of the sea of thunder, roared upwards, and frightened the world. Thunder Dragon King Mysteries. Red Yulei. Boom. Thunder Dragon King roared and soared into the sky. Rumble. Garp's Washwang fist bone clashed fiercely with the Thunder Dragon King. Boom, boom. It is as if there is a supreme war drum beating between heaven and earth. The world seemed to freeze at this moment. The next moment, the shockwave of incomparable power centered on the two of them and blasted in all directions. The dissipated lightning and fist power fell to the ground, blasting out huge craters one after another. Extremely chaotic convection appeared in the atmosphere, rolling up gravel all over the sky. Ling's entire battlefield seemed to be shrouded in a lightning storm. And this is far from over. When the power of the hero's fist bones gradually weakens, Thunder Dragon King's power has just risen. The Dragon King opened his mouth wide. Under the horrified and terrified eyes of the sailors on the four sides of the battlefield, they swallowed the hero Garp in one gulp. Vice Admiral Garp. Not good. Vice Admiral Garp is eaten. For Emperor Suyu, what level of monster is he? That's Vice Admiral Garp. Our Marine's strongest hero. Is our Marine's undefeated myth. Here Garp about to be defeated? Who else can check and balance that monster? Are we really wrong? Fairy tale really can't be messed with. The Marine elites all over the battlefield couldn't help but lose their voices in shock, and despair emerged spontaneously. Garp, hold on. On the execution platform, Marshal Sengoku shouted violently. Finally, he could no longer watch calmly. In fact, after Firefist Ace was taken away, there was no longer any need for him to stay on the execution platform. He had wanted to join forces with Garp before, just rejected by Garp. Garp wants to go one-on-one with Suyu, but the situation has developed to the point where it is now. Marshal Sengoku could no longer stand idly by when a voice like Huang Zongdalu blasted the battlefield. On the execution platform, Marshal Sengoku shined brightly, and his figure swelled against the wind. Zone Rinran Fruit Phantom Beast Buddha Form Ability, Burst. Boom. The great Buddha Sengoku crushed the execution platform with both feet. The huge body suddenly soared into the sky. Climb on top of Thunder Dragon. Kai kai. Black and red conqueror's lightning wrapped around the golden palm of the Buddha. Drink. Ultimate's powerful shockwave that entangles the Buddha bursts. At the same time, Garp, the hero who was trapped in the Thunder Dragon, also hit the Washwangba fist bone. Under the internal and external attack of the two marine legends, even the Thunder Dragon King couldn't take it anymore. The body was pierced by the power of the two legends, and slowly dissipated between heaven and earth. On the top of the battlefield, Boshin's hustle and bustle erupted. Marshal Sengoku. The Marshal's shot too. Another legendary pillar of our marine is finally here. Vice Admiral Garp and Marshal Sengoku's collaboration unrivaled in the world. Look, that mighty and domineering posture. It is simply a giant Buddha walking in the world. With Vice Admiral Garp and Marshal Sengoku teaming up, it's really stable now. Even if it's the president of Fairy Tale, he won't be able to win. Seeking flowers. In this world, no one can win the joint efforts of the Marshal and the hero. The Marine elites all over the battlefield shouted excitedly. Cough cough. Above the sky, the escaped Garp coughed up black blood with black thunder. Didn't I say that? This is my battle. Don't interfere, Sengoku. If you intervene, the nature of the situation will be different again. Garp said quietly. His one-on-one battle with Suyu is a battle of mutual enjoyment. No matter who wins or loses, there is no complaint. But Marshal Sengoku was also admitted. Create a 2-to-1 situation. Then the nature has changed. It doesn't matter anymore. Anyway, after this war, I have decided to retire. If I don't have you, an old guy, in my future retirement life, it will be too boring. Marshal Sengoku grinned. So, definitely don't die. Sengoku, you bastard. Here Garp couldn't help laughing. Okay, I admit, I can't do anything to this guy on my own. If one person is not enough, then two people. Since Fairy Tale came to the sea, Marshal Sengoku forbears everywhere for the sake of the overall situation. But, in fact, his character is not really so weak. Every time he gave in, he suffocated a fire in his heart. This is the end of the matter. Marshal Sengoku didn't hold back either. Decided to show Suyu his strong side and vent his past anger. Let's take this guy down together, partner. Sengoku is in high spirits. Garp didn't respond because intuition told him, even if the two of them join forces, the chances of winning are still endless. But the sailors on the battlefield are full of confidence in them. Go. The combination of Marshal Sengoku and Vice Admiral Garp is invincible. Nobody can win the two of them. Wake up, fairy tale. The shouts of the sailors resounded through the sky. At this time, ha 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 ha, unruly laughter came from the sky, accompanied by a huge shadow. It's so ugly, Marines, what you call justice is bullying the few with the more. If you like this audiobook, subscribe the channel for more videos like this. And join my Patreon if you want to support me, link in the description. Leave some comment and let me know if you guys like this story, or you have a web novel you like and want to hear its audiobook. I will be happy to create them for you. Please like, share, and leave a comment on the video.